Hello, very good morning to you. We're live here on Sewing Street and my name's Debbie Shaw and we're going to be here for the next 3 hours. Now it was National Sewing Machine Day yesterday and we thought every day is National Sewing Machine Day, isn't it? So we're carrying on some of the offers for you that we had yesterday. So have a look on the website on sewingstreet.com and we've added overlockers to the offers as well. So take a look at those. It's been really busy for overlockers this morning already before we even came to air. So if you're new to us, hello and welcome along. We're Sewing Street and we're live here for 3 hours every morning from 11 o'clock from 8 o'clock through to 11 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it feels like 11 o'clock at night. And then there's another couple of hours of pre-recorded shows as well. So in total, you've got 5 hours of sewing every single day. We try and bring you as many new projects as we can, as many new products. In this hour, we're launching some new Liberty fabrics. In the next hour, we're launching some new colourways of my sewing panels. And don't forget, we've got those deals running through as well. If you want to have a look at everything that we have for you this morning, take a look on our website, sewingstreet.com. It'll come up with a video of me now, and underneath there are all the products that we have for you over the next 3 hours. So if you can't wait for us, then have a perusal. What we also do is to bring you a one payment postage all day of £3.95. So that means that if you buy something, say now, and then you come back in an hour's time or 2 hours time or any time up until midnight tonight, we don't charge you any extra postage. And that's every single day. That's not just because it's National Sewing Machine Weekend as we're making it now. If you do order a sewing machine, that will come to you directly from the supplier as well. But the other products, anything else that you order will come from us, so they won't come all bundled up together. Now every morning, because you got up nice and early to be with us at 8 o'clock this morning, we give you a special offer, and today we have a reduced price on a cross-stitch book. And this is an amazing prize considering what we've actually seen it for. So for £3.99, it's a really thick book as well. On the back of here, it actually has a recommended retail price of £12.99. So yes, do apologise to the author for that one. Sorry, Sarah. But this again is jam-packed full of lots of different ideas, and it's very modern. Some a little bit different. There are some very classic styles in there. As normal, you have what cross stitch is and how to make those stitches, and then understanding charts. There are some pages at the back of the book that have charts in them as well. So you've got, where have you gone? There you go, look, lots and lots of charts for you to fill in yourself there as well. Cross stitch rules okay apparently, but how to transfer your patterns onto the grids and then all the way through to all the different patterns that you can create. So again, they're really modern looking. I think we've got mermaids and Russian dolls, home sweet homes, dinosaurs, moustaches, and we've got the alphabet there as well. So it's something I think for everybody. So a bit of pop art. How to cover buttons. Now I did say this was £12.99 recommended retail price, and we have had a shop around because not everybody reaches that £12.99. However, when you take a look on places like Amazon, where you normally get the very best deal as far as books are concerned, doesn't match what we have. It doesn't match that £3.99. It's actually £12.99. Oh, free delivery, get them. £12.99. And in fact, I'll tell you what you could do. You could have a look at that because you can do a look inside on Amazon. So you can have a flick through all of the pages if you can't keep up with me. Then come back to us to order because we've got a much better deal there. Waterstones is another place we go for books, isn't it? Well, have a quick look. In fact, don't even bother because we've done that for you. Waterstones, £12.99. Have they got postage? I'm not sure. But ours is £3.99, so even with your postage added on top of that, it doesn't bring you up to the £12.99 recommended retail price. And then remember that you've got no more postage to pay for the rest of the day. But there are little projects in here as well. It could be badges, patches, buttons, cards. So small achievable projects if you're new to cross stitch. And bizarre photos. I'm going to say why. Makes it to be honest, it puts a smile on your face, doesn't it? I mean, there is no reference to budgies on the inside of the book. I've got no. Sarah, why the budgies? Why the budgies? Why the animal? I don't know. Projects are great, but the pictures. You can make a watch strap. There's embroidering collar. I mean, you can cross stitch whatever it is you want to. Obviously, you're learning the techniques. That's a very large phone cover or a very small dog. So again, you've got smaller projects, but you can expand those and make those as big as you want to. Obviously, a clip. Lovely ideas. That is the biggest hair bobble in the world, isn't it? But you know, £3.99. What a great introduction to cross stitch you have there, with budgies on the cover. I don't know what. If you'd like to get in touch, you can come and have a chat on Facebook if you like. I've got the visitor posts page open on my phone. So if you've got any questions, comments, pictures to share, what are you up to today? If you want to just come and say hello, then it's Facebook. Sewing Street TV on Facebook. Sorry, I'm not on the fans page, I'm on the Sewing Street page. So have a pop over there, or you can drop us an email if you like. It's studio@sewingstreet.com. So again, any questions you have, if you want to see anything again, if you want another look at those budgies, then do come and let me know. Right. As I said earlier on, we've got a brand new launch for you of Liberty Fabrics. So a new colour option for you. And these are beautiful, all inspired by flower shows. This is the flower show summer range. So you may have seen the prints before, but not in these colours. They're brand new colours for you. There is in total half a metre of each one of those. So you're getting an awful lot of fabric to start with. In fact, there's 7.5 metres there in total, for £104.86. Now you're making a bit of a saving there of £7.49, which is unusual on something that's launching for the very first time. So in here you can see you've got tiny little flowers. The outlines are so delicate. The quality of the fabric is exceptional, as you would expect. It's a Liberty fabric, but look at the detail. It's so beautiful, so delicate. Look at the little snowdrops, crocuses. Tiny ditzy little flowers. Nice for smaller projects, but I'm thinking as well this would make lovely little girls' dresses and things like that. You might have to patchwork a few pieces together, but that would be a lovely look. And then to coordinate, we've got the teals. I like a plainer one, because then when you mix it together with a heavily patterned fabric, it doesn't get lost. So for instance, I wouldn't put those two pieces next to each other because you can't really differentiate between one and the other. They blend in together. But when you have a plainer fabric or a more striking colour, then it separates the patterns and really brings out the colours, I think, in these two as well. Larger flowers, maybe your English paper piecing. To be honest, I would imagine if you're buying 7.5 metres of fabric, you're going to be making a few quilts out of this. Now, if you want to order this collection, it's not on the website as yet. You need to give us a ring on 0800 001 4433. And just say I want that new Liberty flower collection. Let me know what your plans are. Have you been for the Liberty collections before? What did you make? I'd love to see pictures. So again, bright, bold, very modern, cream background. It gives it a really classy look. Oh, Sarah's messaged in. Hi, Sarah. She says, morning. Morning, Sarah. From a rather dull Lincolnshire. Oh, is it dull? I've left Lincolnshire in sunshine this morning. Oh, what a shame. Oh, it'll cheer up later on, I'm sure. I think it forecasts rain all weekend now, doesn't it? Deep, rich blues. And again, the detail on these is really incredible. But remember, only on the phone lines for this one, please, 0800 001 4433. That is a free phone number from a very helpful team here in the UK. And then finally, we have the irises. Is that a bit of a petunia going on? Beautiful colours. That one actually looks like a chevron, doesn't it? Let me open this up and show you how much you're getting in each piece. Yeah, and a lot for your money. So 112 centimetres wide and ½ a metre in each length, which brings you that 7.5 metres in total. That's nice weight as well, nice weight of fabric. Okay, that's that. We do have another bundle. We'll be coming to those later on. I think it's about time we did a bit of sewing. Should we do a bit of sewing? Should we do a bit of sewing? I think we should do a bit of sewing. That's all one bundle, by the way. Oh, sorry, they're both one. Oh, they're both one bundle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I haven't finished yet then, have I? So well prepped. You probably did your sums at home before me. Deep pinks. You get all of these. That's your 7.5 metres in total. There's 15 pieces altogether. Oh, early Sunday mornings. Little flowers. That's a lovely one as well. Tiny little flowers on that one. And then you've got the purples and the yellows. So again, £104.86 for all of that. But again, only on the phone lines, please. On 0800 001 4433. You get the lot. That's an awful lot of fabric. That is quite a few quilts, isn't it? I would imagine. Right. Bum, 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 bum. We'll do a bit of sewing. We have a few books for you on the show. In fact, we've got quite a library going on the website now, if you have a look there. This one is Love to Sew Sewing Room Accessories. This is projects for you to make for your sewing room. This is one of my books. This is the idea that I had. Sewing for yourself. Sewing as a gift for somebody who sews, but these are all things that you're going to find useful to sew with. And of course you can adapt them. That doesn't have to be for your embroidery hoops and notions. That could be for makeable pens even. But let me show you what's in here. So we've got storage options. As usual, there's always a list of tools and fabrics and things like that that you use in the book, or things that I suggest would be useful. Techniques such as applying bias binding. And then on to projects that you can make for yourself. So there's a pumpkin pin cushion, the ribbon stash. These all go together in, I'll show you in a bit in the book. So there's a sewing case, and inside the sewing case is where you keep all of these little bobbins that you're going to make yourself. And you can store everything from your notions to your embroidery threads in there. Look. And it's even got a pin cushion inside it as well. So that'll keep you organised. There's the machine cover and mat, so we've got a bit of free motion embroidery there. A tidy caddy, again that could be keeping bits and bobs in the bathroom neat and tidy. Cutting mat carrier that you can adjust to the size of the mat that you have. That one's made for an A3 mat, so handy storage pockets on the front as well. Storage to hang on the wall, the tool roll, so more storage for you. Overarm storage, I'm going to make a pin cushion from the overarm storage in just a second. And then these are really useful as well. It's my take on a tailor's ham, but if you've got a tailor's ham or a sleeve roll, they don't come with somewhere to put your hand. You've got to put your hand around them. So if there is a chance that you're going to burn your fingers when you come around the side. So I've put a pocket on the front of this one, as you can see, so you can slip your hand inside there. And it's actually shaped with a square base because I make a lot of bags. So I can push this into the base of the bag and press it. Whereas hams tend to be round and more designed for shoulders and princess seams if you're dressmaking. You've got an ironing station, so this is going to keep you organised at the side of your table. So that's converting a little stool into an ironing pad with storage there as well. Another different style of sewing machine cover. So that one's a little bit more solid. It's even got a pocket on the side so that you can keep your extension table in there as well. Pin and pattern pouch, and that's weighted down with sand, so you can sharpen your pins while you're sticking them in there as well. And then you've got your sewing journal cover. And then finally, a little carry case, which you could again use as a cosmetic case as well. The Love to Sew books that Search Press bring you are normally very, very simple. They're very simple designs, very simple projects, but minimal instructions. So this is just another one I wanted to show you really briefly. So you'll get the picture and then you'll get brief instructions. Mine are a little bit different, seeing as I'm married to the photographer. We can fit loads and loads of pictures in them. So you don't normally get that in the Love to Sews, but you do in mine. So that's just £7.99, so that's Sewing Room Accessories. Apparently it's from the author of the best-selling Half Yard series. No idea who that is. This is Love to Sew. Vintage style gifts for the home. So patterns and templates in the back. And I think the vintage style mainly comes from the choice of fabrics that she's used. But if you don't like the vintage style, then imagine these in different colours, in different prints. Maybe in the Liberties that you've been ordering this morning. That would be very pretty. So decorations for the home. And again, small projects, achievable projects. More pincushions. Nice pictures on these as well, aren't they? Oh, a little bit like mine, but bigger. Bit of quilting. And again, more decorations, storage bowls. Fun little things for you to make. And if you're a beginner sewer, nice quick projects there as well. Because if you're learning how to sew, it's nice to have something that you can start and finish all in one go, that you don't need to have an awful lot of fabric for, and that, you know, if it does go horribly wrong or you cut something out wrong, then it really doesn't matter. You're not wasting too much fabric. That's what I like about the small projects like you see here. But it's also nice to make something that's useful, that you can keep, that you can use, or you can gift. More books on the website, so have a look there if you need more inspiration and ideas. So let's have a look at that little pincushion, because with this one, oh, shalla, done it. You can make a little pincushion out of this as well. So inside here, it's just fabric on the back of there, but on this one, on the individual little pincushion, I've actually put a CD underneath there. It could be a DVD. Either will do. It could be a CD-ROM, or a DVD-ROM, or a Blu-ray. As long as it's a little circle about 5 inches across, it could be a bit of cardboard, to be honest. So we're going to be cutting circles. So the easiest way, I think, you're going to cut your circles is to use a circle cutter. I'll just get a mat so I wasn't too organised. So this is the Fiskars circle cutter. You'll love this. And fabric-wise, we'll have a dark pink, and I think, well, should we do that one? Or should we do a light pink? I'll do that one. Using Liberty fabrics. Okay. So I need 5-inch circles, and I'm going to need 10 of them altogether. So I'll need one in the dark colour, and that's going to go right in the centre. And then I need 8 to actually make the rose shape of the pincushion, and then I'll need 1 for the base, which is a bit of a shame to use Liberty fabric for the base because you don't see it. So I've got a bit of a scrap there, so I'll use that. And I'm just gonna plug my iron in. This wasn't planned this morning, as usual. You come into the studio and think, oh, what should we make? So it's this. Bear with me. Right. Now then, this has increments going up to 12 inches, so you can make a 12-inch circle with this one. And it's got a blade inside here, which is all covered up so it's nice and safe, which doesn't work until you depress it, then the blade comes out. So it's nice and safe, you're not going to cut yourself on there. unless you push it out. And I need a circle, so I can cut semicircles with this as well. But to cut a circle, you're going to fold your fabric in half. And then along the side here, it says place on fold line, and I just need a 5-inch circle. So move you out of the way, which is here. So let's line this up, there we go. Place on fold line, on the fold line you are. That goes in there. And there is my perfect circle. So one of those. And then one of these. So that goes on the fold there. That goes in there. Oh, there you go. It's got little grooves on it, so it just slips in. Another perfect circle. Didn't press on quite hard enough there. I just snip that bit. And then we need 10 of these. So I've only ever cut one circle at a time with this. So let's see how many we can do. Will that fit there? Yes, it will. So I've got 4 pieces there. Let's see if it'll cut 4. You have to try these things, don't you? Oops. Oh, are you in? I'm just talking to my tools. No, it won't cut through that many. It'll cut through 2 though, I'm sure. Right, so there's my 5. 1. And I love this little tool, you know. It's so quick, it's so easy, it's so accurate. Even if you have a circle template or you're drawing around a plate or something like that, so you've got the perfect circle, cutting a circle with a pair of scissors is really difficult. So you don't get any chop lines in the end of it. Right. And I suppose you could use it for card as well, couldn't you? If you're making a circle aperture, might get, I don't think we do them, but I might get a spare blade if I'm going to cut paper, because it does tend to blunt. And I know I could make a little bit more of this fabric, I just wanted to get it done quickly. There we go. I'll just do one more, we'll just do 8. 6. 5 inches there, you on there, you go in there. There we go, that'll do. So we don't need you, put the safety cap on there, and that can go there, right. So I've flipped this over and I'm just going to iron these. Just take that crease out of the middle. There we go. You could make this any size as well if you wanted to make one with 6-inch circles, 7-inch circles. You could go really big with it, and that'd be pretty. You may need to cut a few more. Right. So a little bit of hand sewing now, because the centre one is actually a ball, so I need to make a running stitch all the way around the edge. So it doesn't have to be particularly neat, and I'm just sewing about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. And my stitches are around about 1/4 of an inch long. So this makes the ball shape that goes in the centre, and then all of the other pieces kind of wrap around the edge. This fabric is so nice to work with. It's important when you're hand sewing, isn't it, to have a really nice fabric, when it's passing through your fingers all the time. Just feels nice. It's quite quick as well. Quite a quick project, but it does look impressive, I think, when it's finished. Right, off we go. Almost back to the beginning. And where are we? There we go. So I'm not going to cut the thread at the moment because I've got some toy filler that needs to go in there. So this one can be quite firm. And pull that up. Use a nice strong thread. I normally use a double thread when I'm doing this, but I haven't, so I'm just being gentle so that it doesn't snap. And I'll put a little stitch in the side here. That'll do. So that's going to go there. Just put that away. And then these we're going to sew in half. Just checking how... Yeah, there was 8 on there. We'll just do it with 6. Are you ready? Coming up in the next hour, new colour coming up. And this is the 550 machine, which comes with bonuses because it was National Sewing Machine Day yesterday. So that's every day in our house. So you're getting quite a bundle with this, but part of that bundle is including the walking foot. So I just thought we'd have a look at the walking foot and I'll show you how to put it on when I find a screwdriver. It's always the screwdrivers that go missing, isn't it? I wonder how loose that is. So what you'll need to do is take the foot off, but it's not just the foot that needs to come off with the walking foot, it's the ankle as well. So that'll do, thank you very much. Thank you. And this is the ankle bit, so the ankle is the bit that holds the foot on. So let's just unscrew that. Whatever you do, don't lose the ankle, because you won't be able to get your feet back on again. And machines don't come with spares. So let's take out the screw. Whoops, don't lose the screw either. And then this will clip around the side of where the other foot came off, and the bar needs to go on top of the needle clamp, or the screw that holds the needle in place. So let's just pop that back in again. And use my screwdriver. Oh, there you go. So I'm trying to do this so that you can see it, but I'm not left-handed. I normally do this from the back. So let's do that. Around you go. Not overly tight, but just so that it doesn't wobble when you're sewing with it. There we go. So you can use the foot with all of the stitches that you would use your zigzag foot or your standard foot with. So whether it's straight stitches or a zigzag stitch or in the decorative stitches. But the idea here is that as that needle bounces up and down, and remember I put the bar here over the top of the needle clamp, as the needle goes up and down, you can see these little white teeth going up and down as well. So as the feed dogs at the bottom are feeding the fabric through from the bottom, these teeth at the top are feeding it through from the top at the same time. You will find when you're using it that it's a little bit noisier than just using your standard foot, because you've got all of these mechanics going on in the back as well, but don't worry about that, that's absolutely fine. But this means when you're sewing through thicker fabrics or lots of layers of fabrics, you will have you won't have fabric slippage. Now I wouldn't normally use it unless it's on the machine already for sewing something like this, but I'm going to anyway. So I'm sewing from the top side. So these are folded wrong sides together, and I'm just sewing quite close to the edge. Oh, should have left a gap. Leave a gap there, because we need to put some stuffing inside it. So let's just lift this up and move it across. The smaller the gap, the more difficult it is to stuff, but the less noticeable that could be. So try and leave a gap of about an inch or an inch and a half, and then we'll stuff it. So tweezers may help here, or a pen, or a stiletto, just to help push the pieces in. Now don't overly stuff these, because you need to kind of wrap them around to make petals. So if they're too overly stuffed, then that's going to be quite difficult, and you will be sewing around the edge of these again as well. So again, just keep pushing that in. And do firm enough to hold pins, because it is a pin cushion after all. And right into the corners. So that'll do for that one. And then I'm just going to sew over that opening. So again, it's an idea not to have the wadding going right up to the seam line. Wadding and toy fillers and things like that, have a look on the website on sewingstreet.com, because we've got lots of them there. So we need to do the same with the other pieces. So bear with me. So again, wrong sides together. So around the edge. So this little machine, I'm saying little machine because it's a compact machine, but it does pack a bit of a punch. We have 50 stitches on here, which is plenty. To be honest, I've got quite a fancy sewing machine. It's a little bit like the 720 that we've got coming up in the next hour. I very rarely use more than 3 or 4 stitches. So you do have decorative stitches on here, and you've got your buttonhole stitches, there's a zigzag stitch, and of course you've got your straight stitch, so you've got utility stitches. So you've got all of the basic stitches you need for most of your projects. The reason I had a more expensive machine wasn't because of, normally the more you pay for a machine, the more stitches you have, but it was because I wanted to sew at speed through thick fabrics. So this one, not as fast as the 720, but fast enough. It will sew through thicker fabrics. I would use a denim needle if you're going to do that. But it's not a huge machine, it's easy to lift. My machine, I can't lift it up at all. But this one isn't very heavy at all, it's about 6 kilograms, I think. So it's ideal for those of you that don't have the luxury of having a dedicated sewing area. You know, if you have to put your machine away after every time you use it, then it's not going to be too difficult to lift up and put away. But as a beginner sewer, or maybe you're upgrading your sewing machine, you've got a mechanical machine at the moment, or an electronic sewing machine, and you've got dials and buttons on the front, and you've got tension adjustments and stitch length adjustments, and the needle doesn't always stop in the correct position to pull the thread out. And you think, oh, I'm just going to go for a computerized sewing machine. This is a lovely machine to upgrade to. It comes with a 2-year warranty. It's made by Elna, so you've got a big brand name there. And it will cope. So if you're planning on doing the dressmaking, if you're curtain making, if you're patchwork and quilting, perfect for you. Just snip that thread there. Have you got somebody in the family that's learning how to sew, maybe a youngster? I would be very happy for my 5-year-old granddaughter to learn how to sew on a machine like this. You don't need to use the foot pedal because she wouldn't reach it. Because it's got a start-stop button on the front, but it's also got a speed control, so you can slow it right down if that makes it easier while you're learning. And the thing with a new sewing machine, if you're a beginner sewer, you won't be a beginner sewer for very long. So it won't be long before you're outgrowing your sewing machine, before it's not capable of doing what you want it to do. Maybe it's not fast enough, you want some more decorative stitches. So don't buy a sewing machine for the level that you're at the moment. Buy a sewing machine for the level of sewer that you want to be. So if you want to be a dressmaker, don't go spending 50 quid on something from your local supermarket, because by the time you're confident enough to make your first dress, you'll be very frustrated with that level of sewing machine. They're great for kids, they're great for sewing labels in school uniforms, you know, I'm not knocking inexpensive sewing machines, they have their place. If all you're going to do is to take up the odd pair of trousers, you know, and do a few repairs, that's fine. You go spend £80 on one. But if you want a performance sewing machine that you can rely on, that you can feel safe with, that you know is going to be able to cope no matter what you chuck at it, then go for a big brand sewing machine with lots of stitches. And growing capability, something that could grow with you. But nothing worse, would there, than outgrowing your sewing machine when you've spent a lot of money on something. So it just doesn't do what I want it to do. They say buy cheap, buy twice, don't they? And I think it's true. And this is the tool of your trade. And if you're buying a sewing machine, if you want to be a serious sewer, it's going to be one of the most important purchases that you make. So think carefully when you buy a sewing machine. Don't skimp, as my mother used to say. Don't skimp on your machines. Actually, it's the one thing she didn't skimp on. She skimped on everything else. But we always had a decent sewing machine in the house. And in fact, my first sewing machine of my own was my 18th birthday present. And you know, I kept that same sewing machine until I was 44. Until I started selling sewing machines on the telly. I thought, oh, actually, there's a lot better sewing machines out here than the one that I've got. Oh, I need to sew that one back up again. Came undone. Got a little bit too close to the edge, I think, and only sewed through one side. Sewing's really taken off though, hasn't it? I think since we've been shut in our houses. I was talking to a sewing machine dealer the other day. I'll sew that over. And he was saying, I actually ordered a ruffler foot for my sewing machine. And as I was chatting to him, I said, you know, how's business? And, you know, because they have a retail shop as well as a website, so obviously the shop's been shut. And he says, can't cope with the demand. Selling out of sewing machines, selling out of the accessories, and I think people that have sewing machines are really experimenting now as well. I haven't used my ruffler foot yet. I shall let you know how I get on with that one. It looks very exciting. And I tell you, the reason I bought it, Kimberly, my daughter, is doing an awful lot of dressmaking. She's getting through about an outfit a day at the moment. And there's a lot of gathering, so they're gathering on the sleeves and frills and flounces and things like that, and she hates gathering. So I tell you what, we'll get one of these ruffler foots and see if that works. Oh, if you've got one, let me know. What do you do? How do you get on with it? We're almost there. I'm only doing 6 of these. In the book it says 8. Right, there we go. Books are there for inspiration. They're there, it's like a recipe book. If you can't find fenugreek, then you can maybe replace it with, I don't know, a curry leaf. Same with sewing. No messages yet. I can't get on, no. Right, so that's going to go in the middle, and what I'm going to do, if I can find some glue. I'm going to pop a little bit of glue behind there. Oh, never leave the caps off your glue. I need to stick a pin in that. This just makes it easy. You could hand tack if you like. I wouldn't normally use glue on anything that is going to go in the washing machine or that I'm going to wear, but on something like this it can be quite handy. So, oh, I needed a bigger pin. There you go. I don't know if we've got any of this on the website, but if we haven't, I'm sure it'll be back in stock soon. That's HD2. So that's going to go right in the middle. So let's find the middle spot by creasing and creasing again. And that goes there. And then these kind of overlap all around the edge. So it doesn't matter about this edge here being a bit tatty, because on the project that you have, it goes inside a hole. And if you're just making this as a pincushion on its own, then you can put some bias binding around it. So we can do that kind of thing. So let me get some clips. which we have on the website. And we'll just clip these down. This is why I was saying about not overstuffing them, because you find this bit rather difficult. So that goes over the top of there. And then we'll overlap that one. Make sure the edges match up because we're going to sew over this bit. I think given more time, I would hand tack that first of all, just to make sure the edges all match up. That goes there. That goes there. And see how it's coming together really well. There we go. Now it's been quite busy for these fabrics. I'd love to know what you're going to make. Oh, one more in there. Oh, we don't need that one, do we? Now, I've been trying to get hold of that Liberty bundle. I'll give you the details again in just a second. They're available by the half metre as well, but there was a bit of a technical issue this morning, apparently. The mega bundle you can only ring for at the moment. So, but it's been really busy earlier on, so apologies if you couldn't get through straight away, but I think we've got some spare operators now. Okay, I think that's looking good. And then we'll need to take this into the sewing machine and sew all the way around the edge as well. You keep building those up as many as you like. On the one in the book, there's actually 10 petals, and the smaller ones go on the inside. Pull that up a little bit in the middle as well. There. Okay, here we go. Take your time with this one. You've got a lot of layers of fabric to sew through, and I want to make sure that all of those edges are meeting up. I'm going to lengthen the stitch to a 2.8 because I find if I'm sewing on thick fabric, then it can drag a little bit. That's just where I'm overlapping, so stop with the needle down. Can you see what I'm doing there? I'll show you in a minute. And literally feed all those layers through. It doesn't matter if they get a little bit puckered, because petals tend to be, don't they? And just take out those clips as you sew. Maybe that would help. Right, we are, oh, I've taken the foot pedal too far away now, can't reach it. We have 5 machines left, that's it. And it comes with a bundle because it's a special offer, because it's not National Sewing Machine Day, it's National Sewing Machine Weekend renamed for Sewing Street. So we've decided we're going to extend National Sewing Machine Day to today. Okay, so again, take your time, round we go. Oh, that needs to just push that underneath there. I think we should have National Sewing Machine Month. And actually, you know, it is, isn't it? It's always National Sewing Machine Day on Sewing Street. There we go, so that's that. So again, we can arrange that nice and neatly. On the, in the book, I've added a couple of leaves as well, and those are literally green versions of the semicircles there. Now this one I would, in fact it doesn't really need a base on it, just put some bias binding around the edge. I shan't do that now, but I'll just give you an idea of how that's going to look. So that's going to go around there like that. So you can see how nicely that's finished as well. That I would hand sew. And I'd hand sew both sides, because I think trying to open up your bias binding and sew it onto something so three-dimensional, you're going to go wobbly. So sorry, it's even more hand sewing. I love hand sewing. But I would hand sew that on, wrap it over, and then hand sew from the back as well. And I think you've got a nice little project. And we'll have to see if it works. It works. There you go. Pin Julie in pincushion. Oh, I should finish that when I get home. I'll be pleased with that. So that was from Sewing Room Accessories by a lady called Debbie Shaw. Oops. I think she's done a bit of sewing in her time, you know, this Debbie Shaw, this wannabe sewer. The thought behind this book was things to make for yourself for your sewing room. So lots of storage items. You've got your journal cover on there as well. I've got a couple of different types of sewing machine dust covers, ironing pads. You've got your seam press. That's the chair storage, the overarm storage that I've just made the pin cushion from. We've got tool rolls and sewing things to hang on the walls and little drawstring bags, and lots of things to keep you busy, and lots of things that you're going to find useful in your sewing room as well. And that's just £7.99. So tidy up. Right, let's have a look again at this Liberty Mega Bundle. You do need to ring up for this. At the moment, it's not on the website because it's so brand new. We haven't had time to put it on there yet. So 0800 001 4433, if you can order on the phone lines, please. There is 7.5 metres. Let me show you really quickly the size of half a metre. You're getting that much times 15 pieces of Liberty fabric for £104.86. And you're getting all of these beautiful brand new colours as well. This is the first time you've seen these. All inspired by flower shows and gardens. So uplifting colours, colours that put a smile on your face. Right. And they are available by the half metre as well. So if you wanted to do a little bit of dressmaking and you thought, well, I needed a 2 metre piece for me, then you can order 4 pieces of any one of these individually, and they'll come all in one piece. Now then, I'm hoping I haven't mixed them up. Right, so you'll need to search for the code on the website. So the code's going to come up at the top of the screen here. It'll be a combination of letters and numbers. Go to our website, sewingstreet.com, type in the code, and that will bring you up with the colour option that you like. I may have mixed these up somewhat. So if you wanted to order this one, you will need to order LRY V85. That would make a lovely blouse, wouldn't it? Or a shirt. It's a nice quality. So it's quilting weight cotton, but it's for clothing. It's really soft as well. So it's £7.49 for half a metre. What are you going to make with that? Little girls' dresses, maybe bridesmaids' dresses, summer outfits, maybe a little bolero jacket to go with the little dress with shirring elastic around the top and ribbons for straps, and maybe a little bit of broderie anglaise trim around the base. Or maybe it's homewares. How about going for, this is the pink that I used in the centre, which is YQY V68. Cushion covers, patchwork cushion covers, maybe go for a couple of them. You could easily make a front of a cushion cover measuring 17 inches square with one piece of this. Front and back with one piece. If you go for a couple of pieces, then you could patchwork them together. But maybe a little bit of a waste to put these on the back of a cushion if you're never going to see it. So maybe try a coordinating fabric that you have at home already. Just a cream would look nice with that one. This one is XYYV09. So again, with the pinks, that would coordinate very nicely with the one that you've just seen. And again, that's £7.49 for half a metre. Buy the half a metre these, so if you wanted to order a metre, order 2, and you will have a 1 metre length arriving with you shortly. Then this is a really classy one, a really traditional. This one is WMY V65. Oh, I could have made my rose pink cushion with the roses, couldn't I? Because it looks a little bit similar to that. And again, £7.49 for half a metre. We're ever so good at folding at Sewing Street. You may have noticed. Expert folders. RJY V76. Here's another one of the pinks. At £7.49 for half a metre. So that's Chatsworth Blossom. I used to go to Chatsworth a lot. I'd do chicken swaps with the farmer. I used to breed chickens, and they breed, well, it was a few years ago now. They used to breed chickens at Chatsworth, so we'd do egg swaps and things. PXYV72. They're part of the reason I ended up with a whole troop of peacocks. Because Deborah the Duchess, who is no longer with us now, didn't like peacocks. And I did. We've got another peacock, I love it. This one is OHYV96. I had a huge chicken pen with chickens and peacocks and ducks and turkeys, only the female turkeys, the male stags were really aggressive. And I had some little Chinese ornamental ducks at one point. I think they went fox-wise. Then, what's this one? Let's have a look at this one. Oh, here we go. We'll get round to this one because hopefully it's the only one that hasn't got a sticker on it. CZYV76. That's the one that I thought looked a little bit like chevrons. And again, it's £7.49 for half a metre. Have you got any of these flowers in your garden, or do you live anywhere near any of these stately homes and flower shows and wonderful gardens? This is Adlington Hall fabric. I don't even know where Adlington Hall is. If you live in Adlington Hall, then come and let me know. Can we come and do an outside broadcast? When we're allowed to. You know all the secrets now. KQYV21 is the teal background. I think if I'm going for any of the florals, I'd add this one as well, even if it's to add a little bit of binding or interlining, or something where you want to see that bit of a contrast, a bit of piping around a pocket. That's Abbey Wood. Don't know where that is either. And I think we need stronger stickers. This one is GEYV53. I'm probably walking around wearing half of those stickers, aren't I? I'm giving you all of the codes like this because you need to search them on the web. These are so brand new at the moment. We haven't got the images up there, so you'll need to put the code into the website. So GEYV53 if you wanted to go for this one. And this is Mammy from the Flower Show Summer Range, again at £7.49. Oh, that's got 2 stickers on it. Oh dear. And they're different. We'll come back to that one. ENY V58. This one is Manny. So that was GOY, wasn't it? So we'll put that one there. So this one was ENY V58. Now that's something new though, isn't it? Are you a Liberty fabric collector? How big is your stash? I was talking to a lady the other day, just bought some fabric. I said, oh, what are you going to make? She's got no idea. Spent no idea, just liked it. DVY V13. is that one. There's a nice combination, isn't it? I think for the whole set of classic and modern. I think these prints are very modern. And like the roses on the cream background are really classy. But it works, doesn't it? It works really well together. Okay, so we've got a few. Have we done this one? GOYV21. Yeah, so many. Can't remember whether I've seen it or not. £7.49 for half a metre, and again that is by the half metre, so if you wanted to order anything up to probably a 10 metre length, then it'll come to you all in one go. That's that one. Then we have this one. So this is KYYV05. £7.49. They're all £7.49, but I keep saying it. Such a good price. Remember, Liberty quality fabric. It's not just the quality of the fabric, it's the quality of the print. So you've got a very fine fabric, lots and lots of threads in there, so it's a high density, but it's got a lovely handle, which is what you call the feel of fabric. And then the larger flowers. This is another one of those that I think looks very modern. This one is GOYV21. So it makes sense that the final one is GEYV53, doesn't it? I'm sure these are going to be on the website later on. So if you want to come back later. There you go. We won't have problems when we get our own studio and our own website and proper presenters. So we have MAYV91 if you wanted to order that one. Right. So I'll take that off there because otherwise that's going to get packed away as a piece of fabric. Those details, £7.49. Remember, you've got one postage all day as well. So if you've already maybe ordered your early bird cross-stitch book, you're not going to pay any more postage for anything else that you order all the way through to midnight tonight. There's a lot of fabric in that, isn't it? 7.5 metres. So with a mega bundle, if you wanted to go for the whole lot, the only way you can get hold of this is to give us a ring on 0800 001 4433. Not on the website as yet, 'cause it's just so new. I know, can't keep up with you. Oh, now then, we've got launching my new panels. So the design that you've seen before, but in brand new colours, in new fabrics as well, which is really exciting. So that's coming up in the next hour. So go and put the kettle on. We'll see you again in a couple of minutes.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @SewingStreet. We have Facebook. We've got 2 Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All 3 of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those 3 and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
If you love sewing, then you need the UK's favourite sewing magazine. Every month, you'll receive exclusive patterns. Follow simple step-by-step guides suitable for all skill levels to make your own stunning clothes, accessories and more, together with inspiring tips and tricks from industry experts. Join in and discover your love for sewing. Try Love Sewing today and get your first 3 issues for just £6.
Hi, I'm Debbie Shaw from Sewing Street, and these are my 5 top tips for successful sewing. So, number 1, always use a good quality thread. A good quality thread will keep your seams stronger and also help to prevent lint building up inside your sewing machine. Tip number 2, if your project isn't going quite according to plan, put it down, walk away from it, come back again the next day and you'll probably find that things don't seem half as bad as they did. My tip number 3, never throw away your sewing machine manual, always keep it to hand because you're going to find hints and tips, techniques and troubleshooting in that manual. You'll miss it if you lose it. My tip number 4 is to read your pattern instructions before you even cut out your fabric. Different manufacturers of patterns will give you different instructions, different ways of constructing your garments and different seam allowances. So to have a successful garment, you need to follow the instructions precisely. And then tip number 5 is don't give up. Every professional sewer sewed their first seam. Every professional quilter quilted their first quilt. Every professional quilter sewed their first line of wonky stitches and had to get out the quick and pick. That's no different to you. So I hope you find these useful. If you want more hints and tips, then why not go to Sewing Street on channel 74 on Freeview, on Sky 670, and of course we have a YouTube channel where you can catch up on previous demonstrations. We'll see you soon. Hello there and welcome back again to Sewing Street. My name's Debbie, and in this hour we have something brand new for you. We've got a new colourway of my sewing machine, that's not very tidy, is it? Sewing machine dust cover panel. And we've got some new bobbins panels for you as well. So let's take a look. Shall we look at bobbins first? This is a new fabric as well. This is really exciting. It's a really lovely high quality of fabric. And it's exclusive to Sewing Street as well. You can't buy these anywhere else. I can't even get these on my website. I don't have any either. Look at the massive sheet that you're going to get. So we've got the larger sewing machine. These are actually my collection of sewing machines. So this is a child's sewing machine. And these are kind of from the end on, so it's a little bit different. So I should have brought the machine in, shouldn't I? The machine's really tiny, and it only has thread in the top, but it does actually work. I don't know how that works. The reason I haven't brought it in is because my granddaughter was using it yesterday. She's nearly 3, but she got a hole in her leggings. So I hand sewed the hole up, and she says, "Grandma, I help," and she just put the leggings underneath the sewing machine and did that and made a few stitches. So we let her think that she'd mended the hole in her leggings. And the bobbins are a collection of bobbins that I have as well. They have been rebranded because we couldn't put the original names of the manufacturers on there. So there may be bobbins with my name on them. So everything's got a bit of a story behind it. It is all part of the collection. The machines down at the bottom down there is that's a Novum machine, which is my very favourite machine out of all of the ones I have in my collection. I love the colours on it. Never used them, you know. The reason that I've put them in this kind of order is because I don't think you're going to use that whole panel all in one go. So I wanted to leave lots of space around it so you can cut them out and maybe make pockets for an apron or something like that. I made up this yesterday, which is a really handy storage box. I've used plain fabric on the inside because I didn't want to waste anything, and I've used foam to make it quite sturdy as well. And if we get time, I'll make a smaller version of it using the small little squares on there as well. So you can make something quite large and substantial. This is a brand new colour, and remember, you've got brand new quality of fabric as well, even though it's the same price as you saw previously. So lots of ideas for you. You can be making cushion covers. It may be maybe a sewing machine mat. You can make an apron. You could make storage with pockets to hang on the wall. You could do the overarm storage with that. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? The whole strip like that. And it's really easy to sew with as well. It's lovely quality. I'm really pleased with the quality of these. So that's the green. This one's the grey. This is your favourite one so far. Oh, sorry, that's lilac, isn't it? This one's in the lead so far. So we've got different sewing machines. These again are children's sewing machines. The ones at the bottom are Novum again. So they're Vulcan, little tiny Vulcan machines. I've got a few of those now. With my bobbins again. And the bobbins are actually in proportion to the size of the sewing machine. That's how small that machine actually is. And then if I just pan across, you'll see the large bobbins on that side. So little bobbins end on, and then you've got the large bobbins at the bottom as well. Actually, that would go, if you've got the sewing room accessories book, imagine making all of the accessories for your sewing rooms in sewing related fabrics. So you could do your journal covers. Are you collecting them? I'd love to see pictures of what you've been making with them so far. This one again, another new colour. So this one is the lilac. And this one has there's the Novum at the top, my favourite machine. And then the little blue one is the same as the red one on the previous, that same little Vulcan sewing machine. And you've got your bobbins there as well. So that's a pretty colour, isn't it? So lilacs, purples, greens. The colours of the season, don't you know? We like to be on trend at Sewing Street. Now remember, these are exclusive to Sewing Street. You can't buy them anywhere else. You won't ever be able to buy them anywhere else. I can't buy them anywhere else. And you do get an awful lot of fabric there as well. All printed, designed, photographed, all in the UK as well. So Grace still in the lead. And you've got 3 of those. We've had a message from Diana. Hello, Diana. And she says, hello, Sewing Street, hello. I so love my weekends with Debbie on Sewing Street. Oh, thank you. And she likes my top, thank you very much. And thank you to all of the staff for all that we do. All passed on. Thank you very much, Diana. That is really appreciated. We do our best. We've been going live through all of these hard times with very few people actually working here. A lot of people working from home. The thing is, they've all been working. As far as I'm aware, nobody's been furloughed from Sewing Street, have they? Everyone's been working from home. So we've been trooping for you over the last few months, and I'm glad you appreciate it. You know, we're quite a new channel. We've only been going since the 14th of February, and I was working out. I think there's 10 people work here, including directors, presenters, buyers. That's like everybody. There's only 10. So we're not a massive company like other channels that have hundreds and hundreds of people working there. There's 10 of us, and we're producing 21 live hours of sewing shows every single week. So you can understand how everybody's been working absolutely flat out to try and bring you something that's new and interesting. We also bring you lots and lots of demonstrations, which I think is fabulous. Got lots more coming up tomorrow as well, and new things as often as we possibly can. I mentioned in the last hour, the sewing machine retailer I was talking to the other day was saying that they just can't keep up with the demand. To be honest, fabric manufacturers are exactly the same. Everything's being delayed, and by the time you get to placing your order for a lot of fabrics, they say, I'm sorry, it's gone. So we're getting there. We're struggling on. So little messages like that, Diana, really make our day. Oh, so studio@sewingstreet.com if you would like to drop us an email. Pay us a compliment. We love that. We love it when you do that. All right, grey bobbins. Brand new grey bobbins is flying into the lead. I'm going to move you out. No, I'm not. I'm going to move you that way because I can't move that machine. Just so I can show you what you're actually getting. If you've ordered the previous panels, this is if you've already got a collection of previous panels and you put this one with them, it will match beautifully. You've got brand new colours but very similar styles and very similar sizes. It's the feel of the fabric that you're going to see as a difference. So we've gone up market with this one, but we haven't increase the price. So you have a premium quality of cotton. It's all 100% cotton with this fabric. It's got a lovely handle. It's nice to work with. The quality of the print is incredible. Shall I tell you? The photographs are taken by my husband, who's a photographer. We then send the photographs on to Tom, he's one of the 10. He's our in-house designer. I think there's only 10. I'm probably missing somebody out there, aren't I? Sorry, whoever it was. You'll never know. You'll never know who number 11 is. But he digitises all of the images. So these are actual photographs, but they're made to look as though they've been painted. After Tom's digitised them, his girlfriend draws outlines around them. So, like, if you have a look at that one, for instance, you can see in a little bit more detail. So they look like artwork. They look like sketches. So a photograph, then digitised, and then it's a lot of work that goes into this, and then outlined, like you can see there. So it looks like a drawing that's been coloured in with ink, but it's not. It's all based on a photograph. And that's my Nova machine again, that's my favourite one. Nice to see them from the end. I think that's a little bit of a different perspective. Then I've got a big sheet of printed colours on a piece of fabric at home on my wall, and it's like the Pantone colours. And I'll go through there and I'll say, I quite like that one, and I like that one. There's hundreds of them, and I like that one, and I like that one, and send those over to Tom, and then Tom picks out all of the colours that go together and puts the backgrounds on. Then it goes off to the printers, which is in the UK, and then we get a sample so that I can go yay or nay. I've always gone yay, to be honest. And then we bring them to you. So it's all very personal, if you know what I mean. I don't like to bring you anything that's got my name on it without making sure that we've got the quality of the imagery, of the fabrics, and that you're going to find useful as well. Because, you know, to be honest, if I brought you something and you got it home and you went, oh, you wouldn't shop again, would you? And I want you to come back next time I bring you something and buy something else to match. So I want you to have a nice experience when you get the things home. And that's anything. That could be a book or a fabric or anything like that. So that's the grey. That's gonna go. What are you gonna make? Okay. This is the green one. That's the one that I made the box out of. Then that's really useful. And I remember that used actually most of the fabric apart from the little boxes. So those little squares there, I've actually cut those out to make, I could do 2 more small boxes with those. So you could, you know, there's a lot you can do with these. I like the idea of having them with pockets. They've got a big border around them deliberately so that you can leave the border on if you're using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, so you'll still see that nice border. You could, as I did on this one actually, I sewed around the edge of the frame. So it gives a quilted kind of look. I pinched in the corners as well because on boxes like this, they tend to go a little bit floppy. So that helps it to stand up in the corners. And I didn't want to go all the way down because it's blooming thick stuff. And I was struggling under my sewing machine. So I just snipped in the corners at the top, but it worked. And that's, with the smaller ones, I wouldn't use a foam. I'd use H640, which we have on the website, methinks. Oh, and it is in stock, lovely. Because I think smaller projects would be a little bit more difficult if you're using stiff interfacings. Oh, this fabric is so nice. It's such a nice quality. I was so pleased. I'm just thinking what you can make for your sewing. I think storage. I think these are perfect for storage. Whether it's bags or drawstring bags or things to hang on the back of your door or over the back of your chair. I made a cushion. Oh, was that in Sewing Room Accessories? I covered a cushion in some book or other in fabric, but then I extended the fabric down each side, so you've got storage either side of where you sit. Because a lot of us don't have very much room to sew in, and storage it's a problem, isn't it? But when you think about it, where you're sitting in your chair, waste of space down here. Over the back of your chair, waste of space. Probably the back of your door, waste of space. So if you can make pockets and storage items to have to hand, you know, maybe you don't move around very much and you're sitting in one chair all the time, make it a comfy cushion, have your pockets on the side, you don't even need to move. I'd have at my sewing machine I have a stool. It's an adjustable little round stool, but it's on wheels and I can whizzle around that sewing room without even standing up. It's hilarious. So I do have a wooden floor. I couldn't do it on carpet. Where my PCs are, I know. I have an office chair which is on wheels as well, and if I push it really hard, I can go all the way to the sewing machine without even standing up. It's great. And it spins around as well, which the kids love. Whee! This is one of the new colours again, which I specifically chose because I love the lilac colours and I know they're really popular, so I know you love these colours as well. And I think it goes so well with greys. That's Minnova, my favourite sewing machine. I know you shouldn't have favourites, but I do. And the little child's machine that Vienna was learning, well, she was mending her leggings on yesterday, that's that one. And then we've got the bobbins over on this side as well. For £19.99. Should we make something? Now we've got dust cover panels as well in new colours. So would you like me to make a drawstring bag from the dust cover panel, or shall we make a box from this one? Let's do a box. We'll do a box. There we go. I knew I'd prep something. So, oh, let me show you something that I shouldn't. Just because I saw it down here. Don't get, no. Flower of the month tomorrow. That's me in trouble. Okay, so these are the panels, the small square panels, and I've cut them into not very 5-inch squares. Some of these are 5-inch squares because I know I measured them. The outer ones I've already put fusible fleece on the back, and so I wouldn't use anything too stiff on a small box, and I will need 5 of those. You could use 4 if you wanted to put a different base on them because you're not going to see underneath very much. And we have 1, 2, 3. Oh, there we go. We'll have to use those. I thought I'd got 5 of those. Do you know, when I come in here, when we have our new studio and we have lots of space to put things, then I can lay everything out and not have to figure out what I've done with things. I tell you what, I'll cut some more. I've got plenty of fabric. This is all spare. So I will need 5 pieces for the outside and 5 pieces for the lining, so those are spare. So let's cut a couple more from that. I'll find those spare ones just after we finish today. So I need that. Whoops. And a ruler. I kind of like the 6.5-inch by 24.5-inch Creative Grids ruler. Is what I would like to use ideally. Quarter of the stock of the grey panel sold out now. This is the green, and if you wanted to order the green, you need to search for the code on the website, and your code is ERUU18. Oops, that wasn't very straight. So again, 5-inch. Come off. I only ever talk to my work when it's not doing what I want it to. 5-inch squares. And I just need another couple more of those. There we go. And then we need to sew them together. You weren't expecting that, were you? So this is the 720. This is the newer version of the machine that I have at home. Just need to change the thread. So it's got a few more features than mine's got. And we've got it on offer because it was National Sewing Machine Day yesterday, which we've extended for the weekend because we are Sewing Street and it was what we're all about, so we can do that if we want to. Just searching for more thread. Sorry, I've got the wrong colour in the top. If you wanted to order this one, this is what you get. I mean, look at this lot. Over £91, I think there's more than that. There's over £120 worth of freebies. So you've got your hemline fabric marker pen, the Melwood large ruler rack, a creative grid non-slip ruler, the So Simple Super Soft wadding, rainbow strips of fabric, natural fat quarter pack of 4, rainbow colour me and fabric panel, alphabet applique fabric panel, really, and a Tilda fat quarter bundle. So over £120 worth of freebies when you order the Elna 720 Pro. Wow. So a lot more than £91 worth you're getting for free. Right, so let me just thread this up with the right colour. It's an easy to use machine. It is very heavy. One of the reasons I bought mine was because I had a different needle threading system to mine. Was because I wanted a sturdy, fast sewing machine that would sew through multiple layers of heavy fabrics. I use a lot of canvas. I like to work with denim occasionally. I make a lot of bags, so it's all about the interfacing and the like. And why aren't you threading? I've got a thread caught in the cutter, so I shall thread it by hand if I can find a pair of scissors. And I wanted a very fast machine. So although you've got hundreds of stitches on here, that, to be honest, isn't the reason I bought mine. I wanted reliability. I wanted something that I'd never have to replace, to be honest, because, you know, when you're spending £1,400, you don't have to be spending that every year, do you? So I just wanted a machine that I can rely on to cope with anything that I throw at it. And honestly, I can throw a lot at a sewing machine. Mine's on the go every single day, 7 days a week, and it's never let me down. This comes with a huge extension table as well, which I haven't got enough space to put it on, which is about this big, about that big. That's how big it is, like this. So you will need a large space if you're going to use this, and this simply slips over the top here. Don't need to use a foot pedal with it if you don't want to. It comes with a knee lifter as well, and you've got a whole host of sewing feet, presser feet that come with it too. It's really simple to use. You push the number of your stitch into the keypad, and the machine will automatically set up the stitch length, the stitch tension, and the stitch width. You can override that if you want to. So have a quick look before we get sewing. I just have the machine. It's got a memory. We have the alphabet on there as well. In fact, you have a board here which goes on board your sewing machine with a list of all of the different stitches. So there's utility stitches and quilting stitches. You have stretch stitches, decorative stitches, and you've got a whole load of stitches for a straight stitch needle plate. And that's a high performance needle plate. So if you do a lot of straight stitching, as I do, most of my stitching is straight stitching, you get a nicer finish to your stitch. You get a more perfect stitch. On the reverse side here, you have the alphabet, and you've got numbers and punctuations there as well. So there's an awful lot going on stitch wise. To choose the stitches are really easy. You just press in the numbers here. You can, again, override the stitch length and the stitch width if you want to. There's lots of settings on here. If you don't like the beeping noise every time you choose a stitch, if you wanted to change the brightness of the screen, if you wanted your favourite length of stitch to be remembered, you can do all of that in the setting. The bobbin winder has a separate motor to the needle, so you can wind your bobbin up at the same time as you're sewing. but it means you don't have to unthread everything to wind your bobbin up if you've got extra thread. You can extend the length of the satin stitches by up to 5 times without it losing any kind of solidity. There's a twin needle option. If you press the twin needle option, you will not be able to use any stitch that isn't appropriate for twin needles, which you'll find really useful, because you might think, oh, I'll do that decorative stitch with a twin needle, that'll be pretty, and then you break your needle because it's not appropriate for the stitch. The mode here takes you through the different chapters, if you will. So, one twin needle. So there's 1, 2, 3. Those all relate to that board that I showed you earlier on. So the main stitches that you're going to use are the utility stitches across the top, which is mode 1. Mode 2 down here is the more decorative stitches and quilting stitches, mending stitches and buttonholes. And then you've got mode 3, which is the alphabet on the back. You have a thread snipper, needle up down position, a lock stitch, reversing stitch, and a speed control. So you don't need to use your foot pedal. However, if you do use the foot pedal and you find the machine is a bit fast for you, you can actually slow that down while you're using the foot pedal as well. The tension dial is on the front. Don't touch the tension unless you're doing any specialist stitching, but I like it here because I can see that the thread goes around the tension discs, and this makes it easy to clean. Press the foot pressure dial. So if you're sewing through heavy fabrics, you may want to add a little bit less pressure. If you're sewing fine fabrics, you may want more pressure. So that increases the amount of push, if you like, that the presser foot puts on your fabric. This machine doesn't have a free arm. To be honest, I don't miss it too much. You get used to it. And I do dressmaking. I tend to find if I'm sewing something like a sleeve, I'll sew from the inside and sew it in a loop this way. You've got a nice big area here. So if you're quilting, if you're curtain making, if you want to roll up your fabric and thread it through, then you can do. And this is cast aluminium. That's what makes it so sturdy and so solid. So I find with mine, I just sew on an ordinary dining room table and it doesn't shake around. It's a really solid machine. So if you want something, the machine that you won't have to buy another one, the machine that you're going to find reliable, that you know that you can rely on with those heavy weights of fabric, or with chiffon, with silk. You may not at the moment think, oh, I'm never going to sew with silk, but the day that you do and your machine won't do it, that's the day that you're going to be disappointed, isn't it? I love this machine. I love this machine, I really do. I don't have a, do you have a name for your machine? I don't name my machines. It's just the sewing machine, but I do love it. Right from when the box, I mean, it's in a big box. You may need help getting it out of the box. But from the day mine arrived, it was just like, you never love at first sight. Because it's just so reliable. My daughter uses my machine as well. I say mine is kind of the predecessor to this one, so this one's got a few more bells and whistles compared to mine. But she's only been sewing for about a year or so and does mainly dressmaking. And to be honest, I would let the kids use it. There's not very much you can do to go wrong with it. Because all you're doing is pressing buttons, you're not going to break it. And you've got your start-stop button, so little ones that can't reach the foot pedal. I wouldn't buy this for my grandchildren. They're special, but I would let them use it. You know, a lot of people, when they have a very expensive sewing machine, will have another one in the house for when the kids come around, or, you know, you're teaching youngsters how to sew. I'd be very happy for them to use this sewing machine because there's nothing you can do to it. I mean, they're not even going to be able to push it off the table. Should we do some sewing? I have my squares. This is the green bobbins, the green bobbin panel. And I'm going to sew these together. It's a little bit confusing with all that there, isn't it? Let me tidy up a bit. Right sides together to make the outside. So make sure you've got them the right way around. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. They don't need to be exact squares, but they all need to have the same height. So you could make this into a rectangle. So you could make it into a rectangle. I never thought about that till just then. Just make it, that would have been a good idea. Maybe next time. Just make sure I've got that the right way. And we're just going to sew down the edge. So I'm using just under Oh, no, actually, I'm using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I wanted to use a small seam allowance so I don't lose too much of the design on the front. So when I open that up, I've still got the stripe going down there. And we'll sew all of these 4 together all the way the right way around. We had a message from Jane. Hello, Jane. She sent an email. She says, "Hi, Debbie. I was undecided about ordering the grey panel until you said that the little machine was a Vulcan." Oh, really? Have you got a Vulcan experience? It was her very first sewing machine. Oh, how lovely. She had one for her 5th birthday. Oh, she says that was a long time ago. She then goes on to say it lasted for about 3 months because it was a single thread and constantly thread nested. She then learned how to hand sew until she had her first Singer hand crank. 7.5, and you had a Singer hand crank. Oh, I bet you wish she still got it, and she still loves to hand sew. Oh, so that is so nice. That little Vulcan machine. So my granddaughter, she'll be 3 in August, my little granddaughter, and she was using it yesterday, just playing with it. And I don't know how that single thread works, and it does tend to unpick very easily. But you only put thread in the top, and there's no getting away from it. It's got to be done properly because there wasn't any thread in the machine when we first started. And it's like, Grandma. And then trying to thread the thing, because my eyes aren't particularly good, which is why I love needle threaders. But I spent ages and doing this and Grandma did and it just wouldn't go through the needle, and then I realised the hole's on this side. When you're sewing the base in, there's a little bit of a trick, and this is the same if you're sewing in a bag base. The temptation is to put the base into the corner and start to sew from the corner, but don't. You're going to overlap that so that the edge of the base marries up with the edge of the side there, and then you start to sew a 1/4 inch in. So I'm going to start to sew from about there. And I'm not going to pin it because it's too small, so let's just line that up. And I'm actually going to start in the side because it's quite difficult to start sewing right in the corner like that. Let's get the needle down. So I'm just lining up the edges here. And again, this is going to overlap. So there's the seam there, and that overlaps by a bit, or by 1/4 inch actually. So I can feel the lump where the seam is, so let's stop right on the seam, leave the needle down, twist it around, and back down again. You do have a 2-year warranty from Elna with these machines, by the way, and they're a British-based company. They're based in Stockport, in Cheshire, and they are very nice people. And that's important because if you do have any issues, maybe, I don't know, you lose the instruction manual or something, there is somebody there at the end of the phone line that isn't going to be patronising, that will understand what you mean, because these people sew. And, you know, when you're really proud of the company that you work for, you want to be as helpful as you can to support them and, you know, support the customers as well. And I think you'll find that with Elna. They're very nice people. Right, just sew into the final corner here. And again, stopping right on that seam. I paid more than that for my machine as well. Just FYI. Do you know, I'd pay it again. It's the most important thing you can buy. Scissors are very important, cutting tools are very important, your iron is very important, but this is going to be the biggest investment when you're sewing, whether you're buying a £479 550 or you're buying a £1,400 £7.20. It's a big expense, isn't it? So you want something that's going to last you. You want something that has support, so you've got a peace of mind knowing that if anything does happen, you've got somebody there. I mean, Elna stroke Janome have been around for an awful long time. Even after your 2-year warranty's up, they're not going to carry on replacing and repairing and things like that, but there will still be somebody there that can point you in the right direction. So you've got long-term support when you buy something like this. But it's reliability. I was saying even with the little the 550 in the previous hour, what kind of sewer do you want to be? Are you an accomplished sewer at the moment, but you want to do more? I don't know, you're going to start making wedding dresses, or you want to get into the quilting market and that kind of thing. You've got a machine that you don't have to think twice about, oh, will it go fast enough? Will it go through that thick fabric? Will I have enough stitches? It's a really solid message. It's a lovely machine. Right. And it's solid. Solid right around. This isn't. Oh, that is. That isn't. That's all solid. Stable. It's lovely. Lovely machine. Right. That's the outside. So I'm going to do the same again for the lining bits. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have that one in the base. So in just the same way, grey's still in the lead. This is the green one I'm using at the moment. So I'm just making sure that the bobbins are the right way around like that. And these are sewn together in the same way, but we need to leave a turning gap in the bottom. Oh, I wasn't going to do that. I was going to alternate them, but I didn't. That goes there. It's a very quiet machine. I'm going on about this machine, but I love it. I do. It's a very quiet machine. It may sound noisy to you at home. I don't know if it does or not, but we've got very sensitive microphones that are very close to it. So it does pick up on the very quietest of sounds. But you don't get vibration from it. Oh, it's got a really huge foot pedal. That's something that mine hasn't got. So you don't miss it. I've got a foot pedal, but it's just an ordinary one on mine. This one's huge. Which, of course, you don't need to use. There's a memory on it as well, so you can piece together letters and... oh, this happens, you know, and I shall show you. Sewing machines don't like to not have fabric. Recognise that? And I bet if you're quite new to sewing, or this happens to you for the first time, who are you going to blame for that? You're going to blame tension, aren't you? You always blame the tension. You'll be fiddling around with the thing and it'll get even worse and you don't know what you're doing. My machine does exactly the same as this. If you start sewing off fabric, sewing machines don't like it. Overlockers love it, sewing machines don't like it. I don't know how it happens, but the thread jumps out of the take-up lever. It does exactly the same on mine, so I recognise that straight away. The first thing that, right, sewed off the fabric, take-up lever hasn't got a thread in it. And I can show you. I'm not going to unthread that needle because I've got a blockage that needs clearing out there. The take-up lever at the top here, it's jumped out, there's no thread in there at all. So all I'm going to do is to grab hold of the thread as it comes through and put it back in again. But this shows again how important, when I was saying in surgery the other day, in sewing surgery, not my local doctors, talk about sewing. Did you know that machine, ooh. So it's important to thread through every one of the channels that is recommended. So if you see a hook, if you see a loop, and it's got an image of where the thread goes, it has to go through there. So missing out this one, which is one of the most important ones, means that everything goes to pot downstairs and you get all of that looping underneath. So all I'm going to do is to drag that back up again and pop it into the take-up lever. Go on, in you go. So I'm trying to do this so that you can see it. It goes that way, doesn't it? Should know where it goes. There. So I just didn't want to undo the needle. So that will be fine there. That is purely because I started sewing off the end of the fabric. So wait to start. You see, there's nothing wrong with the machine. Eventually, if you carried on doing that, you get into such a big knot with it that the machine would jam, and then a warning light comes on the front saying, "Oh yes, please." I can't remember what it says. An error message comes up basically, then it won't let you. That's better. It won't let you sew. If you try to sew, it'll just go beep, 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 and it won't let you while it all calms down a little bit. Still, it's not the end of the world. I haven't even broken a needle. Those kind of things will happen. So if you want to avoid that kind of thing happening, firstly, don't use your thread snipper, because you'll need a tail of thread coming out the back, as she'll show you. So that's all been snipped off with a thread cutter, which I do use most of the time, to be honest. But oh no, I don't want you either. So I'm not going to snip the thread off there because I want the tail. And then when I start to sew, let me just get that bottom thread up. Come on, there you go. So when you come right to the edge, start with a needle down, hold on to these threads, and then as you start to sew, you're literally pulling the fabric through. And that's that. The other way that you can do that, if you are having problems, maybe have used a thread cutter, is to use a little piece of tearaway stabiliser, which I don't have. I use tearaway stabiliser at home, or a scrap piece of fabric, and start to sew on the fabric before you sew on your work. So that goes there. I know I've sewn that one already, but start to sew, get the machine going, and then straight underneath with the next piece. And then you can just cut that away afterwards. Right, I better finish this, hadn't I? So let's put the base in just in the same way as I did in the top, but this time I'm going to leave a gap, so I'll leave the gap there where we start. Oh, that needle's come undone. I'm doing this by hand because there's a piece of thread stuck in part of the needle thread, which is preventing it from threading properly. So our sewing machine technician will be with us at the end of the show. She's on call at the moment. She'll be with us any time now. Oh, here she is. And we'll get that fixed. She writes books as well, you know, as well as mending sewing machines. Yeah, and she designs fabric. She's ever so talented. And she's very modest. She'd never admit that she was talented. Right, so again, just sewing into the corners. Feel the lump in the seam when you get there, turn it around the corner, back down this side. It's a nice quick project, this one. You can easily make 2 little boxes and 1 big one, barely using any of the other fabric as well. And they're nice quick projects again. So that's where I left the gap. And then this, nice to make things instead of buying as well, isn't it? The outside goes inside the inside with the right sides facing. Figure that one out. So match up the seams, right sides together basically, so the lining is outside and the outside is inside. And then sew all around the top. So this foot pedal, it's on its way to I don't know why. I've been practicing yoga so I can reach the foot pedal. All the way around. And again, take your time with this one at home. Although it is a quick project. Not bothered about the corners, pressing seams open or any of that kind of malarkey. That needs easing a little bit, which is just stretching one of the other of the fabrics to make them meet. Then we'll turn the whole thing the right side out through that very tiny hole that I left, so you may hear stitches cracking in a second. Oh no, I think we can do it. So pull that through. I will have a little hole in the bottom which I'll need to sew closed, but I'll do that later because we're running out of time. And then the lining goes inside there, like so. Actually that's quite nice with a little border around it, isn't it? Maybe I'll just leave that there. It'll only mean that the lining is very slightly shorter than the outside. And then I'd top stitch all the way around and then just pinch the corners and just sew the very corners like that. Because at the moment it'll do that, which is fine. You've got a round box with a square bottom. But if you want to keep it square, then just pinch those corners and sew the tops on your sewing machine to keep them in shape. So I've got little and large there now. And enough to make another one too. So this is the green panel. So have a look on the website for ERUU18. And you go in there, trying to be tidy. The grey is your favourite one. This is the grey option. So they are slightly different as in the choice of sewing machine. So this is another one of the Vulcan sewing machines. I think this is the senior one. The blue one is a junior and this one's a senior, but it's still only got one thread. And you've got the smaller pockets at the bottom and then two really large strips of fabric. So there's loads that you can do with this. Haven't got it with me, have I? I it was so one of my design team made a little girl's dress. That was Anne, and it was so pretty. I wouldn't have gone into a shop and bought fabric with bobbins on to make a dress out of, but it looks so nice. And then we've got the apron there as well, storage items, pockets. So, and you know, if you were to buy these individually, I think it'd start adding up a little bit, wouldn't it? But these are, we've got lovely quality of fabric. It's a little bit different to the previous one that we bought you. So we've gone up market with these. So you're not going to be disappointed when you get them home. The fabric is gorgeous. And they're exclusive to Sewing Street. You won't find them anywhere else. And you're getting all of that for £19.99. There's so much you can do with those. So that again, that's a new colour. That's the lilac. Sue's messaged in. Hi, Sue. And Sue says, hey Debbie, here's one of my lockdown projects. It covers my genome beautifully. I love your books too. Oh, thank you. I'll be having a go at that pretty pink cushion, make it a bit smaller, put elastic. What a good idea. Put elastic on it and make a wrist cushion. Thanks for keeping us sane. I don't know about that. But thank you very much. It's lovely to hear from you. So that is the sewing machine dust panel. It's got pockets on the one side. The machine on the top right-hand side is actually a plique, so you can do that. You don't have to. And it doubles up as a sewing machine mat as well. And it's quite a nice size. I made it for me to fit over my Elna sewing machine. So this is the kind of size, it's quite big. So if you've got a smaller machine, it may drape a little, but that's fine. So we've got pockets on the front here. And then this is a plique. So again, you don't need to put that on if you don't want to. And then on the reverse side, that's my Vulcan again. That's the senior one. And then on the inside, it's still printed. Now you're not really going to see that very much, so maybe you could use your own fabric for the lining and make another project from those. And this can double up as a sewing machine mat. You're getting the ribbon included as well. Doubles up as a sewing machine mat with pockets that hang over the edge of your table as well. But it's not just the sewing machine mat, there's also the little storage bag. You'll have grey ribbon with yours. And you're getting all of the components to make that as well. So it's both pieces. And again, you can make this stretch so much further, because inside here, this is where I keep my felt. There's lining in the spotty fabric. So you could, in effect, make another bag if you used your own fabric for lining. But that's a nice size as well. That's really useful, I think. But we've got new colours for you. So first of all, let's have a look at the lilac. So these are the same colours as the lilac option of your bobbins. So they would match. I need to stand back for this one because you're getting lots. In fact, let's do that. It's huge. So for £34.99, all of your components to make all of those, well, your dust cover, and you see what I mean about the linings? Because you could use those for another project, and then these little bits at the top here, they're extra, so we wanted to fill the space in. So you've got some bobbins you can use applique, the sewing machine that you can use applique, you've got your handmade buy labels on there as well, and it's just lift that up all the way down there. Gosh, it's massive. And they're all labelled as well. So all of the different pieces have got their names on them. So that's, for instance, the drawstring storage bag rim lining, and this one is the storage bag cover back, so that they're all identified. Oh, and you do have instructions with them as well. All step-by-step instructions with photographs, as many as we could possibly fit on the sheet, so it makes it really clear as to how you're going to make them. Oh, I've gone a lot now. Oh, oh. But you've got your new colours again. So this one, if you're going to go for the bobbins panel, you've got exactly the same colours, so you could have a matching set. If you've already bought the bobbins panel and you're kicking yourself for not putting this one on your order, remember that we've only got £3.95 postage all day. So even if you've gone through and you've paid for something else this morning, we'll know your name when you come up, and we're not going to charge you any extra for your postage. So these machines, now then, that's, I'm about to take the names off for copyright business, but that one's a Jones. And then that one's the Novum, this one's a Singer, and that's a Fister Rossmann. All from my collection. So just as with the bobbins, they're photographed, they're digitised, they're outlined to make them look like drawings. So again, that's Jones, Novum. The Singer, it's the ugliest thing. And it's all cast iron, well, they're all cast iron, and it's really heavy, but I love it. And I think the reason being, there's a lot of these around. There's a lot of Singer, so that's a Fister Rossmann, I've got a Jones's. So there's a lot of machines that look like this, and people collect them because they're so pretty. But these machines, and I think that's a 1960s one, it's not particularly old, because being born in the 1960s doesn't mean that you're old. So it's not a particularly old sewing machine, just thought I'd get that in there. But these are the kind of things that get thrown away, or did, you know, when the modern ones come and the electronics and the digitised and everything, these kind of get overlooked. So it would have had a wooden base with it, which I haven't got, but I just love that machine because it's like taking in a rescue. Nobody else wanted it, and it would have ended up on the skip. And then you've got the larger, again, that's your applique, and those are your lining pieces. So this one's lilac. There's less than 40 of those now. I shall fold up later. The ribbon is included there as well. So you'll need the ribbon on the side, and you'll need the ribbon to go through the top of your little storage bag. And you've got your H640. So you've got really good value for money there. That's about £10 on its own, isn't it? Never be rich. And your instructions included there as well. And a whole reel of, you don't need a whole reel of ribbon, but you get a whole reel of ribbon anyway. It's just, we're so generous. So this one is the grey. I shan't open the whole thing up. I think you get the idea as to how big these are. There's the little blue Vulcan. And this one, oh, these are nice as well. I think these featured on the. I'm not opening the whole thing. I'm just opening the top bit so you can see all the machines. No. So I don't know what make that one is actually. That's another children's one. So all these are the same size. I've got a black one of those as well, and that's metal. That's really quite stunning. So that's your little Vulcan, and the senior one. That's got an extension table up, and Mephisto Rossman on there. So the same deal. So you're getting the cover and the little bag. All for £34.99 with your £10 worth of H640 included, and your ribbon and your full instructions included there as well. And then finally we have the green. When we get our new studio, we'll be able to pin these to the walls because it's going to be massive. And I'll have somebody to pick things up when I drop them and everything. I'll have a professional page turner. Or just a professional page. With a page boy haircut and everything. So this is the green option. See, most TV studios have waiters, and they'll have cocktails, and we have champagne parties when we come off air. So when we get our new studio, we'll have all of that. All of that going on. Because we've got the budget for it, so don't see why we shouldn't. I'm going to fly in. We'll have a helipad on the top of the studios. So I'll have my own pilot. That was the green. £34.99 is your price there. So have we got time to do... Oh no, we've got 2 minutes left. Should we do a bit of sewing anyway? Okay. We can do a little bit of sewing. Now I've already cut some bits out. In the lilac. There we go. Which is your favourite too. Let me just move the... Do you know this? We've got a real... We'll have professional folders in the new studios. So right, let's see what we can do in 10 minutes. At least I've cut the pieces out, because that would take more than 10 minutes. We have the outer pieces, which are these two. We have 2 lining pieces. I've already put fusible fleece or the H640 on the back of those, remember getting that included as well. Those are the bits that go across the top, so I've got 2 of those for the outer. Those have got H640 on them, and I've got 2 for the lining. They don't. I have no idea why that's in there. Lining for the outside bag. These are the top bits, so that's the drawstring bit that goes around the top, and I've got 2 handles. So I'm going to make the handles at first. Hopefully the iron's still on. You can put fleece. Look at this. When we get our new studio. So I'm going to sew, in fact I'm not sewing, I'm going to iron the long edges to the centre, and then to the centre again, thank you, and then to the centre again, and then fold in half, and that's going to be my strap. If you're going to put fleece in the handles, I would just cut a 1-inch strip, not make it too thick. So I wouldn't put the fleece all over the back of this, I'd only put it in 1 strip. That should have a very thick handle. So that goes there. We'll have people that iron for us and everything, our dry cleaners. Wardrobe assistants, makeup artists, hairdressers. All happening in the new studio. I just figure if I say it often enough, it'll happen. I'll be a millionaire one day. I'm just going to sew down one side of this in completely the wrong colour thread, because I've got a 10-minute challenge. Under you go. Right. so, and snip, and that. Then we're going to put this right sides together. Now make sure these are the right way up. So that's the top. And I'll have my little clover clips again. You'll measure these, and measurements are all in the instructions. But I'll just do that by eye like so, so that goes in there. Half the stock of the lilac sold out, by the way. Oh, we had loads of those. And that's going to go facing downwards again, make sure the strap isn't twisted. And normally I'd sew down both sides of that as well, because I think it looks neater. So I'm just lining that up to make sure it's the same. And I'll just sew those in place so I can take the clips out. So that's within the seam allowance. See what I mean about this machine being quick? Love it. Yeah, so if you've only got 10 minutes to sew something at home, you need a quick machine, don't you? Right, under there. Been really busy for this machine as well. I'm sure you're going to love it as much as I do, honestly. I wouldn't replace it. We bring you, I mean, we've got the 780, we've got kind of more advanced sewing machines than this one. I still wouldn't replace it. These are the lining bits, and they're going to go right sides together. Like that. I think it's like when you've, I don't know, you've got your favourite car. I remember my dad used to drive a Volvo, and after he retired, he got a bit of money and got a crease in that one. And he wanted to buy a brand new car, so he bought a brand new Volvo, and I think it lasted about 6 weeks because he just loved the other one so much he managed to get it back again. But it's a bit like that with the sewing machine, you just love it. And I'm not one for wasting money. If you're not going to get the use out of something, then what's the point in spending £1,400 in it? All right, now these two are going to be sewn right sides together to make a tube. Like so. So matching up the seams. Got 5 minutes left. There's no way I'm going to finish it, but at least I'll be able to explain to you where we're going with it. I have made one of these in a previous show, but it would have been quite a while ago now. No. So there will be a more in-depth. Oh look. Do you know what I did? I pressed the thread cutter instead of the reversing button. Didn't like that, did you? Okay, and I'm only I'm not using the needle threader because it's got gunk in it. I blame John. I don't think he's ever used it, but I'm blaming him anyway. Okay, so we have this. So we need to fold that inwards. And you can see that's the rim now that goes around the top of the bag. So you can see how that's looking. So that's that bit here. Then you will sew these two pieces together, right sides together. You pull open those pieces, and that's what makes the base square. So you sew straight across there. And then you do the same with the lining. And then you piece them all together. No, you don't need to leave a gap for this one. So sew these two together completely, so you've got the proper bag with the square base like so. And then you need to layer them all together. So this one will go right sides down over the top of the bag. This will be three-dimensional. You will have all these made up, remember. The drawstring bit that goes around the top, you'll have folded that over twice so you can get your ribbon through there. And that goes right sides down on that. And then you sew all the way around the top. And then you're left with a big chunk of raw edges. But when you flip this over, you're going to top stitch just across here, and that will enclose all of the raw edges on the inside. Let me show you on this, which will probably make more sense. Again, you're getting grey thread. Right. So that would have been sewn on like that. That was sewn on like that. So all right sides together. And then go all the way around here. And then you'll have raw edges. This one hasn't got any raw edges on the inside, but the first time you do that, you will. So when that folds up, and then that folds up, there's a row of stitching along here. So all those raw edges are completely enclosed in that seam there, so it makes it nice and neat on the inside. Then you'll put your drawstring thread through, and then you're finished. There's a little bag. So not exactly a project started and finished within 10 minutes, but hopefully that's explained how the whole thing goes together. But remember, you do have your instructions there as well. The first time you do that, in fact, before you do it for the first time, make a copy of the print, and then you can make more afterwards. Don't mind you doing that. So just trace out that shape, and then you can make as many as you like. Once you've done one and the penny drops, and that's how it goes together. The first time you do it, you're going to be, or that way, or is it that way? But as long as everything's sewn right sides together and you follow the order and the instructions, then you will be fine, and you will have a beautiful bag at the end of your sewing session. So that is your lilac option. That will be finished at a later date. In fact, I'll put that inside there. Over half of the stock of the lilac one sold out. I'm doing that so I can finish it next time. I'll forget where it is. Remind me, if I come next time and say, well, I was going to do a demonstration, but I can't find anything. Go, it's in the bag. For goodness sake. So we've got 3 colour options. That was your lilac. This one is the bobbins, because I put everything down here, didn't I? I put it all in the cellar because it was too much to fold up, so I didn't bother. This is the grey. Shan't open it all out. The H640 and the ribbon is all included as well, and this is a superior cotton fabric. We've gone upmarket, so you've got premium quality with this one, so I think you'll be over the moon. And we haven't put the price up with it. As this one's open, let me do this and show you what you get fabric-wise. There's a metre of H640 included, which is normally about £10. And you've got a whole reel of thread included there as well, and of course your instructions. Gosh, it's quite a workout today in the studio, isn't it? It is for me anyway. Right, okay, we have more deals coming up for you just after the break. So we're going to go from the sewing machine to the Overlocker, another one of my, I've got the Janome version of that one as well, so it's like being at home here now. So again, we'll have a quick tidy up and a quick fold away, and we'll see you again in 2 or 3 minutes' time.
Shopping with us couldn't be easier. If you want to shop online, then you can head to our website, www.sewingstreet.com. It will redirect you to our sister channel Jewellery Makers landing page. Don't worry, you haven't gone to the wrong place. We're simply using their website temporarily while we're building our own web shop. Scroll down past the Watch Live part, and you'll see all of the products that you will have seen on air on today's live show. You can also shop our catalogue by clicking a category, clicking a product to view closer, and adding it to your basket. Once you're ready to check out, you will need to create an account, which is absolutely free to do so, but it will mean that you can check out on as many orders as you want throughout the day with still only paying 1 postage and packaging. If you'd prefer to speak to somebody in our UK-based customer service team, then you can do so via the free telephone line number 0800 001 4433. They will not only help you create an account, but will also help you with any of your online shopping.
Hello there, I'm Debbie Shaw, and I would love you to join me on the first Monday of every single month for Sewing Street Surgery. Now, this is a dedicated hour where I answer your questions, and that could be questions about techniques, it could be questions about tools, it could be questions about new products, or maybe something that you've seen that you just don't understand. There's a lot of questions about tensions on sewing machines, and there's a lot of questions about working with different weights of fabrics. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask me, the easiest way to bring a question over to us is to go to our Facebook page and post your question on there. I will collate all of those questions throughout the week. If we need any new products for you, or if we need any new demonstrations, those will all be worked on leading up to that first Monday of the month. So do join me, Debbie Shaw, on Sewing Street Surgery on the first Monday.
Would you like to take part in our weekly competition? If you do, then all you have to do is head to the Sewing Street fan page group on Facebook. Post your picture of your make. Myself, Debbie Shaw, and John Cole Morgan love looking at all of your makes every week. We pick our favourite and announce the winner every Friday live on the show. Happy sewing and good luck.
Hello and welcome. We love hearing from you, and we really hope that you can follow us on our social media platforms. We've got Instagram, which is @Sewing Street. We have Facebook. We've got two Facebook pages. One is the Sewing Street TV page, and the other one is Sewing Street Fans. All three of these are monitored all the time by our wonderful team, and if you want to message us on air, drop us a line on either of those three and we'll definitely be able to answer your questions that you may have. If you post on the actual wall, we can perhaps answer there. Otherwise, message us as well. That works really, really well. Thank you so much for being involved, and it's only because of this community that we're able to bring you all these different diverse products and to be able to answer your questions that you may have. Another way you can stay in touch with us is by signing up to our newsletter. These newsletters are sent out to you very regularly, and they include not only our guest profiles of upcoming guests, but also amazing shows that we've got coming up for you. And if you want to look at the amazing products before everybody else, that's the best way to do it. If you'd like to sign up and you haven't already, the link to follow is www.sewingstreet.com/sign up. You won't regret it. Thank you.
Hi there, welcome back to Sewing Street. This is our final live 45 and a bit minutes this Sunday morning. I've enjoyed it. It was nice to have a bit of a sew along on a Sunday morning, isn't it? We are here for another couple of hours though, it's just not live for the next couple of hours. We have been celebrating National Sewing Machine Day yesterday, but we just thought we'd carry it on a bit, really. So we've still got special offers on sewing machines. Have a look on our website for more details. That's sewingstreet.com. And in this session, I'm not going to say hour, we've got a couple of overlocking machines for you. These are both air thread overlockers. So this one is the Dukey. Comes with bonuses as well, because we're celebrating like mad this sewing machine day. But every day is a sewing machine day on Sewing Street, isn't it? You're going to get 10,000 metres of free thread. We're also going to throw in some iron-on interfacing. Again, iron-on interfacing. You're getting 2 pairs of scissors, pins and a thimble. Those are really nice. Actually, I've got some of those at home. We're going to give you a wrist pin cushion, which is magnetic, and we're going to give you a little storage container to get your bits and bobs in as well. So that's £995. It's still only £395 P&P. You know, I mentioned earlier on, if you were watching, that if you buy a machine, they come direct from the manufacturers, not via us. It's still £395 for your postage. So if you ordered a packet of pins earlier on and you paid your £395, there's no extra, even though we don't distribute the machines directly ourselves. So in effect, if you've already bought something, that will be no P&P for the Dukey. Air thread overlockers make threading so much easier. There is a difference between the two machines. I'll talk a bit more in depth about that shortly, but it's basically the same kind of idea. This one's digitised, so you can choose different stitches here as well. With the Dukey, it doesn't matter in which order you're going to put your thread in. It does matter with the with the Elna one that we're going to show in just a second, and this one has an automatic pump. With the Elna, you'll need to pump it up and down to put the threads through. This one's got a button on it. I just wanted to kind of show the difference in the prices, because when you see two air thread overlockers, you're going to wonder why this one's a few £100s more expensive than the Elna. But that's why. It's digitised, it's got the electronic pump. Same idea, so as easy to thread as the other one, it's just got a little bit more technological advancements. Third time to say it. But you're getting all of those bonuses as well while we have the stock. The other air threader that we have for you is the Elna. Now, I've got the Janome version of it, very much like with the 720. I've got the Janome version of that machine at home. I have the Janome version of this Elna, so it is exactly the same as my machine. And I use it so often. The reason I like an overlocker, not just for the finish on the seams, which is incredible, they're so quick. You're sewing at something like 1,250 stitches a minute. Considering your average sewing machine, domestic sewing machines, what, 750 stitches a minute, you're sewing at twice the speed of a sewing machine. Both of the machines are 4-thread, but you can use 3-thread if you like. I tend to use 3 threads for most of my projects, unless it's a loose weave fabric like linen, or if I'm doing very heavy weights of fabric, so it saves on the thread a little bit. You're getting bonuses as well. So your gift is the bee storage. That all opens up as well. I'll show you that in a minute. And we have the set of scissors as well. So you're getting all of that for £699. And that's worth over £42. We had a couple of messages. I'm sorry I ignored these earlier on. We have been really busy today. Morning, Debbie says, Dawn. Oh, you're there every morning, aren't you, Dawn? Looking forward to another fabulous show. Lovely to see you. From a very sunny Canary Wharf. Oh, you're in the posh bit, aren't you? Jane says, no, that's all sorted out now, I think, Jane. Karen, oh, hi, Karen. Great show. Love the pincushion. Think I might be making one today. And hi, Jen. Just say down to watch. You've been up since 6 o'clock. Really? I've been up since 4:30. Done a load of washing, stacked the dishwasher, put the campfire stew in a slow cooker, and now I'm going to sit and watch you while I do some English paper piecing. Right, that's Facebook. If you want to leave a message there, that would be very nice. We've got a message from, hi Alan, how are you? Hi Debbie says, love the new colours with the sewing machine covers, thank you. And it's made a butterfly handbag. And a storage bag for his Build-A-Bag books, so you can keep them safe in one place. Oh, thank you. I want to see pictures. Probably put pictures on there already, haven't you? See pictures, Alan. Okay, so let's have a look around here. We go up Periscope when you get this home. I've used different colours in this machine so that you can see the role that they play. These 2 threads are called the loopers, and they will put thread around the edge of your fabric, and these 2 threads are the needle threads. These are all the tensions. People tend to be a little bit worried about tensions. Don't be. You may have to adjust the tensions for every single project depending on the type of fabric that you're using. It does have a little thread catcher or a scrap catcher that comes on the front. Tend not to use mine. I think I just forget to put it on. But this is what seems to concern people about overlockers. So let me show you around the inside. We'll have a quick sew, and then we'll thread, and then be rude not to make something, wouldn't it? So your thread needs to go through all of these channels and around all of these gubbins. The machine won't work with the door open, so I don't need to switch it off or anything. At the side here, you can adjust the length, the width of the stitch. You can take the blade away. So overlockers have a little blade on them. It's that black thing here that snip away at your fabric. So you're going to sew right around the edge, and any extra fabric's trimmed off. And this button here is to do a rolled hem. So it'll go from S to R standard to rolled hem. And it's actually really simple to use. So let me just get a piece of fabric to show you. So if you are, I'll show you the threading in a second. If you're dressmaking, if you do a lot of dressmaking, then get yourself an overlocker. You're going to finish off your seams beautifully. Let me switch you on, that'll help. With an overlocker, unlike with a sewing machine, you can sew, and you must sew off the edge. You need a chain like this, so you can sew away for as long as you like, and that just comes out the back. That's perfectly normal. We've got 2 needles on here and 2 sets of feed dogs underneath there as well. You do have the presser foot lift at the back. I very rarely use mine because I tend to just tip this up, put the fabric underneath, and away we go. So you can see, let me just turn that around a little bit. There's the blade at the side, and that is chopping off any excess fabric. And you can hear how fast this is going. So let's go all the way down to the end. Whoops. And you must do that at the end and chain it off. Okay. And then when you've got a thread snipper, when you look at this, you can see the straight lines here. That's the needle. And then the red is the left looper and the blue is the right looper. I think that could do with being a little bit tighter. And because this is quite a long stitch, I'd make it shorter so it's a little bit more dense. So I'm going to tighten up the red very slightly. Doesn't take very much. And I'm going to make the stitch a little bit shorter. And then we'll have another go. No, I like that. Let's go further still. And I like that. If you're sewing with 3 needles, you can choose which, 3 needles, with 1 needle. So you've got 3 threads. Then you can choose which needle to take out. So I shan't do that at the moment. See, that's so much nicer, isn't it? So that was as we started. So I tightened up the red. If the blue thread or the right-hand looper is a little bit loose, it may be the blue that needs tightening, or it may be the red that needs tightening to tighten the blue. So play with it. So I just tighten the red slightly, and I've got an absolutely perfect finish there. And I've narrowed the stitches, so that makes it much neater, I think. If you're only sewing with 3 threads, take out one of the needles, and do take it out completely, otherwise you'll just have holes down the side of your work. If you take out the left-hand needle, you're going to have a smaller hem or a smaller seam. If you take out the right needle, then you'll have a seam that's about that wide. So again, that just depends on how you want it to look. Should we thread it? Shall we just do this thing? Okay. There is no need to rethread in this manner every single time because you can knock the threads off. So to be honest, I've got white thread in mine at home at the moment, and most of the projects I use white thread. I'll use white, I'll use grey occasionally, and I've got black. I don't tend to go for the colours, but white's in there at the moment, so everything is stitched in white. Your overlocking stitch is normally going to be on the inside of your garment, so you're not going to see it anyway, so I just find that easier. When you come to rethreading, so the only time I'd do that is if I ran out of thread on the cone, or I'd broken a thread maybe. You can tie a very tiny knot in the thread and then just feed it through, and the knot will go through. Trim the ends of the knot off, the knot will go all the way through, so you don't have to worry about rethreading it. But if the worst happens and somebody comes along with a pair of shears and snips all of your thread, this is what you're going to do. So first let's take the thread out of the machine. So again, like I said before, you've got a chain coming off here. Pull it all out until it's all gone. Now with this machine, you need to thread in the same order. And even if you break one thread, you need to undo them and go back and thread all in the same order again. It's just the way that it works. Let's take this over through the periscope. There's a little clip on the top of the machine you need to go through. You can probably see the dials inside here. They're like 2 pie dishes. And if you just pull the thread, you can feel that going into place. So let's just take that out again. So feed it over the top. If you don't go through the tensions, you can have the same problem that we did with the sewing machine earlier. But if I just pull that in, then that's now nice and firm. Make sure that happens. Let's undo this. And remember, once this is undone, you're not going to, I just need to turn it a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. You're not going to be able to use it, so don't worry about accidentally touching the foot pedal or anything. Right, now these are the 2 feeds. I'm going to start with the right hand one, so this needs to come over here. And I want to, this is telling me that I'm going to thread the machine. So at the moment it's on sew mode, that is on thread mode, and there is, you can't see it there, but there is an image on the side. And then you need to turn the hand wheel towards you to connect the tubes down here that the thread's going to go through. And there they go. And then we'll thread. So I'm going to pull quite a length of thread out so that we can see this going through. And you're going to poke this inside the hole by about 1 centimetre or half an inch or so, and then pump. And just turn this around, do it again. I'm going to pull that thread again just so you can see. You don't need to do that at home. And you can see the thread shot out there. That's what makes it so easy. While I'm there, oh, there's a bit of fluff there, and it's really going to annoy me. You'll have a little brush that comes with it, but I need to get that out. That's the only cleaning that you need to do. Just get a little brush and give it a flick around. Actually, this does open up on this side as well. So you really can get in there to clean it up. You don't have to do anything in this. This is purely so that you can clean it. So if you've got some of that air spray in a can or something like that, don't blow into it because you're going to introduce moisture into metal, and we don't want that to happen. But we can kind of go around there and give it all a bit of a clean up. Feed dogs tend to get a lot of fluff in them. You find that on your sewing machine as well, and your stitches will be a lot neater when you get rid of the fluff. Anyhow, we're threading. So let's do the same with the red. Just sort of clean up a bit while I'm here. See, it's John when he uses it, he gets it in a right mess. That comes down the front. Poor John, I hope he's not watching. That goes over to the left-hand side because I'm threading the left one. Again, I'll pull too much thread out so that you can see this going in. Feed that down by about 1/2 inch. And away we go. And it's come out here already, look. That's done. Then we have the needles. So there is a needle threader on here as well. The first overlocker I had didn't have a needle threader. I didn't realise you could do them for 2 needles. So a threading system pretty much like your sewing machine, so just follow the guides. We're going to thread the yellow one or the right hand one first of all. Excuse me. So that goes into the right hand side here, and then around that little hook and pull it over to the right. Let's move, I can't move that out of the way. If I get rid of those tubes, I can take that out of the way a little bit. Needle in the uppermost position. So that comes down and just push it across so it's on the right hand needle. And then we go across the front here, underneath the little hook there. Is that in? Not quite. See, this is where my eyes fail me. I'll be glad when the opticians are open again. And through you come. So pull that loop through. All of these threads can go in front of the blade and to the back. And then the same with the white one. So under the clip, through the tensions. Again, make sure that's in the tension. It goes around the same little arrows here. This time we go through the left-hand side into that bar there. And when you pull the needle threader down, just pull it over to the left-hand side and it'll go through the left needle. Under there, and pull it through. And we are threaded. So you will get into a little bit of a routine with that. So you won't need to do that very often, but the more you do it, the quicker that's going to be. So let's just close that up. Let's run another piece of fabric underneath just to make sure we're still working okay. And it's not. So what's happened there? I've only got 3 threads. The blue one has come out. Where did you go? You're still there. Let's pump you through again. I'm talking to thread now, look. Oh, we need tubes, don't we? We need tubes. We've got tubes. It's there. See, it's come out of the tube. Okay, shouldn't do this. I should be doing them all again, really. Every time. Over to the right hand side. Let's do that again. In you go there. It's jumped out again. If you want a really not entertaining show, if you have a look back at the last time we did this, I spent about 20 minutes trying to thread this one. So it went through first time earlier, didn't it? If you have a little bit of beeswax on the end of your thread, will help. Just want to make that stiff. So a bit of beeswax on the end would help, or a spray of hairspray. Hairspray. Don't spray it near your machine, I've just sprayed that on my fingers. Right. In you go. In there. In you go. And then, I think I pulled it out again. Let me do it again. Oh, just when things were going so well. All right. I've been doing a lot of work with viscose, which is really fine and floppy, but it looks lovely with a rolled hem. And you can do a rolled hem on the machine, which I wish I'd have shown you instead of this. But it makes a hem of about 1 millimetre. Thank you. And turns the fabric over as well. Right, let's get you around the back. There we go. See, if Jane from Elna was here, that would have been perfect first time. Right. Machines behave around Jane. And there, I tell you what, before we broadcast that, can we just edit out the bit where it took me an age to thread it? Because then if we just cut straight to this bit, then we can say, you see how quick and easy that was to thread, and now I've got that perfect stitch again. We could do that, do you see? Yeah? Okay, that's what we're going to do. Where are we? Oh, we've got time to make a dress, haven't we? Doll's dress. Right, shall I do it here still? That's that. You do get all of your accessories. There's a little pair of tweezers in there, which help with threading, actually. I'll need that. And I'll need this. And we're going to do a circular skirt. Right, so that there. And... oh, we've sold out of circle cutters. Oh, we'll get them back. I'm doing a doll's dress for two reasons. I've got a limited amount of fabric and I've only got a 12-inch circle cutter. But you could use the same method to make an adult skirt, if you like. So that's that. I tell you what, oh, this is the new Liberty fabric as well, which is on the website. Oh, only the best fabric for my doll's dresses. While I'm here, I'm going to cut a 3-inch circle from the centre. That wasn't in there, was it? That's it. There's your circle. I tell you what we'll do, we shan't do that, we shan't make a dress, we'll make a skirt. And I think that hole in the middle needs to be a little bit bigger than that. Well, she's already got lots of dresses, so I just thought a skirt might be a nice change for her. And you know, she's got little little camis and things anyway. So I'm going to cut that into a 4-inch circle, I think. There we go. Oh, now that's a bit short. Should have had a 3-inch one. I'll cut a bigger circle for the next one. So I won't be able to use the circle cutter because I need a bigger circle for that. But we've sold out anyway. So this one, how big can we go? We can go quite big with that. So that will be a 14-inch circle, because she's an 18-inch doll, this one. So she's quite a big girl. Yeah, as we all are. So I need to cut in the middle of that one another, I can use this on there, another 4-inch circle. Just make sure that's in the middle. That looks middle-ish to me. And 4 inches is there. So I've got 2 of those, like that. So I'm going to overlock around the hem first of all. And I'm not going to, shall I? Should we do 3 threads? Should we do rolled hem? Should we do that? I think we should do that. Let's do it. Right, so I'm going to take out one of the needles. So I'm opening the door so that that's not working. And I'm going to take out the left-hand needle so I can do a really small rolled hem. So I'm just unscrewing this. You do get a needle holder actually, because the worrying thing for a lot of people when you're, snip that thread off, when you're taking out needles is that the needle will actually drop inside the machine, which can happen, but at least on this machine you can open up the door at the side and get it out again. But you do have a little needle holder, which is this one, so you can hold onto the needle, and that makes it easier to thread back up again as well. When you take one of the needles out, re-screw the thread, the screw in here, because the vibration of the machine could shake that out, and it doesn't come with spare screws, so you don't want to lose that, so that you won't get your needle back in again. So we'll, there we go, just tighten that one up again. And with the needle that's come out, I'm going to stick that in the thread at the top, so I know where it is. And then let's stitch out the chain until the white thread's gone. That'll do. Then for the rolled hem, on the inside of the machine here, I'm going to go from S to R. So from standard to rolled, that's what the R is for. So that is there. So flick that over here. Around the side here, which one is it? There's an R on one of these dials at the top. Oh. So move that round to R at the top there. And what else do we need to do? On a lot of overlockers, when you're doing a rolled hem, you need to tighten up the tensions and have a play around with them. This one you don't. It's actually got a button on the front that says standard or tight. So I'm just going to flick this across to tight. And on a lot of machines, you won't be able to use the thread cutter. So that's standard, that's tight, with a rolled hem. But this one you can, so you can still trim the edges back again. So let's go. Sorry, Joe. I'll just explain. Because we're all safe distancing, we're very, very careful. We don't have any camera operators. When we have our new studio, we'll have 5. So if you're looking for employment, so we have no camera operators, we have no floor managers. So in this little studio is me and Joe's next door, who is directing, and Hannah is upstairs here, and she is producing. She says hello. So because we don't have any camera operatives and there's only one robotic camera here, when I say have a look at this, Joe has to come running out of his gallery and round the back of the cameras and round the back of here to the camera that comes in a close-up and zoom the camera in and then go all the way back round again and back into his gallery to choose that camera. And then I go, if you have a look at this, so then it comes out again, it comes all the way back and chooses the camera. And, you know, he's getting on a bit. It was his birthday yesterday, and he's exhausted. So thank you, Joe. You're doing a brilliant job, and sorry, but I'm going to carry on. Okay, so let's, so around the hem. Oh no, that's a bit of that white thread. That shouldn't be there, should it? Didn't chain it off enough. So this is creating a very narrow hem. It's taking the threads right around the edge of the fabric. It actually looks really nice in this, in the different coloured threads as well. But you can see it's just creating a lovely outline. Hemming a circle is notoriously difficult because you're going to get puckering. So on smaller projects, for instance, on a doll's dress like this, I'd be making a circle template out of cardboard, a little bit smaller than my circle of fabric. I'd be taking it to the ironing board, I'd be ironing it flat, then maybe taking a running stitch all the way around it and gathering it to keep the circle circular. It's really difficult to hem. And to be honest, with adults' clothing as well, it can be difficult. It will overlap a little bit at the end. But look, you've got such a lovely curve on that. And see what I was saying about working with viscose? If you've got a very fine fabric or a sheer fabric, maybe a georgette or a chiffon or silk or something like that, not only is it difficult to fold that over twice and hem it without it all puckering up on the inside, it doesn't look very pretty. But this does. It gives a really nice finish. Okay, let's go around this one. Now it's incredibly quick. When you're using an overlocker, use overlocker threads. You can buy decorative threads. You can get some that have got a real slub on them, so they're quite fluffy. And you can get metallics as well. We don't have them on the website, but if you wanted to do some fancy sewing, then you can do. You could use regular thread with this, but it uses an awful lot of thread, so you're better off going for a comb. It'll last longer. Needle-wise, Elna like you to use Elna needles. It actually says on the front of the machine just to use Elna needles, and it gives you the name of the needle that you're going to use there as well. Some overlockers, if you've got one at home already, may take just any old sewing machine needle that Elna want you to use theirs. You could invalidate warranty if anything happens to the machine that's got a foreign needle in it. So just to let you know. Almost back to the beginning. And again, you'll need to overlap that just very slightly. And chain that off. And that's the second one done. Pretty, isn't it? Right, then let's put this skirt together. I haven't got any elastic. I'd normally put elastic around the waistband, but I just want to show you how to construct the skirt. So I'm going to take R back to S, stitch length back there, and that back onto standard. So I've reset it, but we've only got 3 needles in there now. Needles. We've got 3 threads in there now. And this is going to be sewn together like this. Which doesn't seem quite right, does it? So I've got the larger circle on top of the shorter circle, wrong side to right side, and I'm going to sew around the hole. So I'm going to stick a pin in there, or 2. Don't go anywhere near the pins with the blade of your overlocker. If you hit a pin with a needle on a sewing machine, most of the time it doesn't do anything, but it could be catastrophic. But if you hit a pin with the blade on your overlocker, you can really damage that blade. And we don't want to do that. Now this is going to go under here. So let's lift the needles up. And, oh no, we'll do it that way. Shall we do it that way? We'll do it that way. Shall we do it that way? We'll do it that way. Oh no, we'll do it that way. No, we won't. And I'm just going to sew around the hole. So I'm joining the 2 pieces together. Oops. So I'm just making sure I'm only sewing around the hole in the middle. I'm not sewing through the fabric underneath. Because this is, it's an overlocker, not a sewing machine, you don't have the throat, so you can't get a lot of fabric underneath the right-hand side of the needle. So we get around things, don't we? Excuse the pun. And I'll show the difference with the stitches actually. So this is the same sequence as the rolled hem, but without the rolled hem settings. Just moved a bit. So let's take these pins out. There you go. So that is a 3-thread overlock stitch, and I'm using the right hand needle. If I can find the 4 thread, that was the one that I was using to start with. So that's the 4 thread, and you can see that that's wider. So I've taken out the white stitch and it's automatically gone to 1/4 inch. Do bear that in mind if you're dressmaking, using your overlocker as a seam, as the seam, because it's going to have a narrower, it'll automatically have a narrower seam allowance than your 5/8 of an inch if you're dressmaking. But you can adjust that. So I've got a big hole and I've got the smaller piece on the inside, so I'm simply going to push that through to the outside. And then my frill is on the outside and I've got a nice neat seam on the inside. So I will need a sewing machine at that point. That's what you've got, look. And because it's been cut into a circle, it gives a really nice fluted little look when it goes, when it hangs down. I would go over to the sewing machine now and sew a channel. So sew about half an inch all the way around the top, and then unpick part of the seam and thread elastic through it, or a ribbon would be nice as well, and that'll gather it up. So you've got a nice little frou-frou skirt there, little frilly skirt. And you could do lots of layers with it as well, so you could have long ones and long ones, long ones. There, that's that. You've got any messages? Nope. It's all right. You're so engrossed in watching the demos. That's what it is. I was going to show you gathering, because you can do this on the machine as well. You have a differential, and the differential means that, I said right at the beginning, we've got 2 sets of feed dogs underneath the sewing machine, and those 2 sets kind of move at the same time to feed all the fabric through at the same rate. Now the main job of a differential is some fabrics, when you put them through, they can kind of not pucker up, but they can ripple a little bit. So you may want to stretch those out a bit. So whereas you've got them going both at the same time, if you have the front one going a bit, I can't do that, going a bit faster than the back one, it's going to stretch the fabric out slightly. But if you really increase the differential, you can really stretch that fabric out and make a fluted hem. So like a lettuce finish, and that looks really nice on stretch fabrics, and it looks really good on viscose and lightweight fabrics as well. On the other extreme, if you have the front feed dog pushing the fabric into the needle quicker than the back feed dog is pulling it through, your fabric's going to gather up. So let's have a go at that. I haven't got any stretch fabric with me, but we'll have a go at gathering. Thank you. Let me get our new studio. Stretch fabric. They don't throw. As Hannah said earlier, we've got all this fabric here, so I'll throw it away. We don't need it. No, it goes in the tray along with little clouds and everything. Nothing gets thrown away. Somebody might need that one day. Oh, somebody's folded this up neatly. No, I don't think we've got any stretch. Oh, we've got a bit of leather. Just bear with me a sec. No. Well, we'll have a go at gathering instead then. So I should have really done my job and brought the right fabric in, shouldn't I? So if you are going to gather, you gather up, right? So we're going to increase the differential, which is on the side. That's the stitch length. Let's go up to number 2. So that's the highest it's going to go. So I've still got the blade working. down, up, down. Whoa, there we go. So we have that. You see how quick that was? And you've got a nice even gather all the way across. Maybe I shouldn't have spent 50 quid on a ruffler foot. I just want to see how it worked. This is the differential at the side here. And you've got the stitch length, this is all on the side there, and then you've got the differential, which is there. So this is the one that I worked right up to number 5. If I wanted to create a lettuce effect, let's have a go and see what happens anyway. I'm going to go down, not to roll, to go down to number 2, and we'll do that as well. And then we'll just see what happens. Have a go on this end. So on a stretch fabric, as you're feeding it through, you can, oh there we go, you can actually stretch the fabric as you go in as well. Not going to work too well on cotton, but that's the way that you do it. So as you're pulling the fabric through, just give it a bit of a pull. Should have chopped the selvage off. And you can just see that starting to wave a little bit, but it's not going to do very much because it's cotton and it's got no stretch in it. But differential down, you get the wave, differential up, and then you get the gather. So gather up and wave down. Really pleased with that. I could have added that to my little skirt, couldn't I? A doll's going to love that skirt. Remember to put all your settings back. Before you finish using the machine, put everything back to how it was, because next time you come to use it, you'll wonder why you're getting a rolled hem when all you wanted to do is sew 2 pieces of fabric together. Your machine comes to you with a 2-year warranty again. And I was going to show you this, wasn't I? And you're getting bonuses because it was Sewing Machine Day yesterday. So that's the little beehive pot that you're going to get. You'll have the same with the Dookie as well. So that all opens up and you're getting 2 pairs of scissors and some pins and a thimble in there as well. So that's a bonus. That's just a thank you. Enjoy your machine. So that's the Elna at £699. If you prefer the Dookie, we have the Dookie for you with lots of bonuses as well. Even more with this one because you're getting a magnetic pin cushion and 10,000 metres of Fred. Fred's not very happy about it, but you're getting him anyway. Your interfacing and your magnetic pin cushion. I'm forgetting what words are. I know they fall out of your mouth, but sometimes they just don't work properly. Right. We also have a Dookie sewing machine on special offer for you as well. So with this one, you have over £350 worth of goodies. But we don't have very many left. We've got one left. £200 worth of feet. There's marker pen, the ruler rack, the non-slip ruler, super soft wadding. You've got rainbow strips fabric, a fatral cord. See, they're not working. The words aren't. They're just not working. Rainbow coloring fabric. You've got your alphabet applique panel, your clover pins, tilde fat quarters, and a rotary. 2 rotary cutters. Over £350 worth of freebies you're getting with that machine. So if you've seen it, if you've seen the demonstrations, if you've had your eye on it of late, then that's it. That's the only one that we have left. The 720 that we had for you in the previous hour, oh sorry, that's the Dookie, isn't it? £2,795 is your price there. The 720 that we had, that's the machine. In the previous hour, that's £1,399, and you are going to receive actually over £120 worth of products with this one, including marker pens, ruler racks, rulers. You've got fabrics and fat quarters, applique panels, so over £120 worth of freebies while we have the stock of that one. And we also have the 680 for you. They're all coming with bonuses at the moment. It's fabulous, isn't it? So this is the 680. Marker pens, ruler. We're going to have no rulers left to sell if we're giving them all away. Rainbow strips and fat quarters and colour me in fabric. Over £91 worth of goodies with that one. Should we do the 560? because you're getting freebies with all of them, aren't it? We've got the 550 with a walking foot for the first time. A walking foot with this machine worth £49, and then you've got your marker pen. You're getting wadding with this one, and your rainbow strips and colour me in fabrics. Over £89 worth of freebies with that one. Have a look on the website for more details of the offers that we have for you. It's sewingstreet.com. That one, details on your screen, is the most affordable machine that we bring to you. But again, you're getting so many bonuses with these machines. If you're in the market for a new machine, I think we're the right place for you. So again, have a look at all of those deals on sewingstreet.com. And I said, oh no, still nobody's messaging me. All busy sewing this morning, methinks. It's studio@sewingstreet.com if you'd like to send an email this morning. It's been lovely to hear from those of you that have. Because we're almost out of time now, aren't we? We've got 5 minutes left. 5 minutes to show you a few fabrics that have been really busy on the website already. Are these new to us? I've not seen these before here. That only launched this week. Lovely. We have sailboats. It's a denim look of fabric, so it's cotton basically. So you've got a quilting weight of cotton, but it's the indigo blue. It's that denim blue basically. For half a metre is £4.99, and these are, I think these are 140 wide if I remember rightly. Let's have a look. Yep. It's nice dressmaking quality as well. So if you wanted to make little circle skirts or blouses, shirts, children's clothing, perfect fabric for that. So half a metre in total for your £4.99. Poor Joe. That's the sailboats. Next up we have little roses on this one, all the same size, and by the half a metre means that if you wanted a metre, it will come joined up in one piece. So this is white roses on denim, and again, it's the look of denim, but it's a cotton, so it's going to be nice and comfortable to wear. And again, that's £4.99 for half a metre. This one is a little bit more modern, more naive print of flowers. Again, you've got the white print on a paler denim coloured background this time. It's nice and comfortable as well, if you are dressmaking with it. So this is white flowers on denim. The previous one was white roses. So that's white roses on denim. All the same price at £4.99. And we've got more white flowers on the denim background. This again is the paler colour of the background. So this one's Ditsy Daisies. I like that one. Square Fancies, this one's called. I'd like a blouse out of that. And it would gather up really nicely if you're putting elastic through it, because it's not like denim, which is really quite heavy. It's twill, isn't it? So it's nice and lightweight. Then we've got darker colour in the background of this one with the pink flowers. So we're calling this one Pink Ditsy Flowers. And then finally here, it's the same kind of look. This is pink flowers on dark denim. But it's not denim, it's denim coloured. So it's that indigo kind of look. This one has a little bit of give in it. It's got a little bit of stretch. So 70% rayon and 27% polyester and 3% spandex. Rayon is same thing as viscose. Rayon's actually a brand name. So viscose tends to be a finer fabric than cotton, but it is natural. It's made from wood pulp. So it's made from the bark of trees, basically. So you've got predominantly a natural, breathable fabric. Polyester gives it a colour fastness, and then your 3% stretch in there as well gives you comfort. So if you're making something that's quite fitted, maybe it's a shift dress or something like that, it has an extra little bit of give to make it comfortable for you. Quick question from Iona. Hi, Iona. She says, hi, Debbie. Would you ever be able to use the overlocker on bags and home furnishings? Yes, you certainly can. You might have problems if you... Because the overlocker doesn't have, like on a sewing machine, the mouth on the right-hand side, if you've got a lot of fabric to feed underneath there, or you're sewing down the centre of something, if you're adding a patch pocket to the front of something, you're not going to be able to use your overlocker. But for finishing your seams, definitely. And home furnishings, yes, absolutely you can. Heavier weights of fabric, I go for the 4 thread, but finishing off seams on the inside of cushion covers, or even using your overlocker as a seam, yes, absolutely you can. And you can buy, always go for Elna ones, but you can buy different specialist needles as well for overlockers, so you can get stronger needles too. I shall see you again tomorrow morning, and at 8 o'clock in the morning we have Moda's Le Beau Papillon fabric collection, and that says butterflies to me. And June's flower of the month is coming up at 9 o'clock. It's roses. And then at 10 o'clock in the morning we have sewing room tools. So it's been lovely to have your company this morning. Stay around for the next couple of hours because we've still got some more sewing to do, and I'll see you live at 8 o'clock in the morning.